Welcome to the Sci-Fi Center, the place to be, where comic books and wrestling collide magically. Movies, TV shows, and pop culture we share. Get ready to rock, we're here to take you there. From superheroes to aliens in outer space, we've got the latest news and reviews in our embrace. Turn on your screen, let the neon lights glow. We'll take you back to the 80s. Let's rock and roll. Sci-Fi Center, where the legends come alive. Get ready to geek out, let your imagination fly. We're diving into the past with a touch of modern flair. Sci-Fi Center, the ultimate pop culture lair.
Happy Saturday. And if you are on the East Coast right now, then you are currently celebrating my birthday. You're welcome. You're welcome. What's wrong with my screen? Hold on for a second. Hold on. If I don't fix this, it's going to drive me crazy. Something it's on this nasty camera. Let's try that. Much better. That blur was going to drive me crazy. Many years, my birthday falls on Labor Day, so I give the rest of the country a paid holiday off. This year, it did not. Tomorrow, September 7th, we're about 2 hours and 17 minutes away from another successful trip around the sun. Welcome to a show I was not sure I was going to be having today in the Saturday Overnighter. I'm still in that decision phase of what kind of structure I want to do. I know we're putting more emphasis on the weekend wrap-up show on Sunday, but like I said, there's still some things I wanted to talk about today, and so I'm still in that decision-making process of when we want to do this show. If I want to not do it on a weekly basis, do it on maybe a monthly basis, who knows, depending on if there's an event or something like that. But I just know, like I said, I was able to put together some simple topics, some simple things, non-spoilery type stuff. So it really didn't take too much to put this show together. I sent Jared, if you're in the chat, I sent you a link if you'd like to come on. Hold on, make sure that Brad should be along in a moment. He knows there's a show. And then, all right, so he's got it. Okay, so our topics tonight, obviously, if you can see from the thumbnail, we are going to be celebrating the 100th anniversary of the Phantom of the Opera. We'll be talking about at least. It was released 100 years ago today, September 6, 1925. I am going to lightly go over the brand new Batman by Mac Fraction. Not going to go and spoil it. I'm going to give you the premise, what I think of it, and if I recommend it or not. Cover story of the week. What is that? Is X-Men 142. One of the most explosive covers, one of the most memorable and historic covers in comics. To be honest with you, I don't think I'm exaggerating when I say X-Men 142, the infamous cover where the Sentinel is frying Wolverine to the bone. This is what I call a representative cover, and the reason why I say that, it actually represents something that happened in the comic. There are a lot of covers that are not representative of what happens in the comic. I got plenty of them behind me. I got plenty of them on the shelf, especially in the day and era of variant covers. That's a lot of the case where you'll have the A cover will be what's going on in the comic, and then the variants will just be the coolest image they can get. This is not the case. This is part of the infamous Days of Future Past stories. This is a facsimile, but I do have the original, but I didn't want to handle it today. So we're going to go over that. We are going to go over the legacy of one Christopher Wallace, a.k.a. Biggie Smalls, a.k.a. the Notorious B.I.G. Died too young, 24 years old, I believe. When you hear about him and Tupac, it sounds like they lived 1,000 years, and they didn't. They're frozen in time. They're frozen in our history when it comes to those things. And what else do I got? Oh, and I'm going to happily give a review of Dexter Resurrection, a series that when I first heard about it, I was terrified, given Dexter New Blood sucking beyond repair for me. But I am happy to report to you that they did it. They did it. After 3 tries, Dexter stuck a landing with their TV series, and this was probably one of the best. This was the ending that the original Dexter deserved, but I love this show. Was happy with how everything wrapped up, so we'll go over that. But let me go ahead and bring in, because I don't feel like shouldering the complete burden of comic book geek tonight, even though I probably should be. But so I'm going to bring in.
How you doing?
I'm going to bring in Tom King's favorite fan.
Why did I show up here? Happy birthday, brother. How you doing?
Thank you. Yeah, I got about 2 hours left of this life, and then I begin the next one here, and the next one around. So we're going to start off with Batman #1. Did you get a chance to read it?
Not yet, but I don't mind spoilers or anything like that. I heard it's good.
Okay. All right, and here's Brad. You know you're running 20 minutes behind when Brad shows up on time. Ha, just kidding. I wasn't sure we were going to have a show tonight, so it's no big deal. I'm not a big reboot fan, and I don't know. And I also hate when the term is applied. Yeah, when the term is not really applied correctly, because I think it does damage to whatever you're trying to sell. And a whole soft reboot thing, that's like a partial pregnant. I mean, you're either there or you're not. So I picked this up. I'm sold out, by the way. Sold out. I got shorted again. But there's so many covers out there. I went ahead and did a reorder. It should be back in my hands by Monday or Tuesday. So I wanted to have it in my hands, but I was not able to get another one. But I enjoyed it. I don't like the costume.
Really?
I think that I don't like blue in Batman costume. I understand. I know.
You're the first person I've ever heard say that.
Okay, it's the Dark Knight, not the Underoos Knight.
Night.
I don't like trunks on any costume.
This is blue in Dark Knight Returns?
Yes, for the first half. And he's not. He ditches that costume.
It gets shredded.
Yeah, he shreds the costume, and the next time you see him, he's in the Ben Affleck type costume. I don't like the trunks. I don't like the emblem. I don't like anything about the costume. I understand, that's fine. But that didn't hurt the story one bit for me. There are some differences in here, that I'm going to have to get used to. Vandal Savage is commissioner. He's a police commissioner. He has he's handling things in a little bit more violent way. He has this group, it's Lex Luthor funded group called TUC, and they are an ultra violent, augmented version of the police. And at the beginning of it, he's giving the police force instructions to, if you meet any metahumans or anything like that, you're to call in Tuck, you're not to address. And he's kind of like trying to do it with an iron fist type of deal. Batman his relationship with the police is not, Commissioner Gordon's not there. Batman's relationship with the police is not where it is. It's more of a newer relationship. He doesn't seem to trust anybody, and he doesn't seem to trust the citizens of Gotham a little bit. There's a little bit of I'm not going to say he's given up on him, but it appears that he's seen enough of them to think that there's no possibility for change in the people of Gotham. That's how the story starts out. I'm pretty sure that's going to be part of an arc that obviously is going to redeem Gotham, because it's not going to hang like that. Now, the main part of the storyline is Killer Croc escapes from Arkham. and Batman's got to go get him before these shoot first ultra violent Vandal Savage cops get to him because he doesn't want him killed. And then you start how he handles it. I think is I'm not going to tell you how it ultimately ends up, but his back and forth with Killer Croc I found impressive. I found the dialogue impressive. I found the premise impressive. I found the portrayal, and I'm about to see a really graphic portrayal of Killer Croc in Absolute Batman #12. Hey, Scott Snyder, for watching, please send me that advanced copy. I'd really read it. So that's going to be a totally different Wayland there. But the one that's here, the way he handles the situation there, kind of refutes the fact that he's given up on the people of Gotham type of situation.
Yeah, exactly.
But because he handles his interactions with him, I thought this is a very well written book. This is the A cover that I'm putting on here. I have other covers. I got the Jim Lee cover coming back in. I got the J. Scott Campbell coming back in. That's one I'm going to probably put in my J. Scott Campbell bankruptcy file for when I go to Comic-Con and get it signed, because it's a beautiful cover. It's got to be signed by him, and I'll put that one away. Let me get you the picture of this city. The way they made the city for you, Batman Beyond dorks. Fans. Just kidding. I love you. I think you're gonna like the cityscape. It's almost Blade Runner-ish, but it reminds me of of the Batman Beyond version of Gotham, but it's not futuristic. It just looks more modern and less of a comic book type of generic city block that you kind of see. Hold on, let me see. I had the pictures up, but
How do you feel about Alfred being an AI in this?
I'm playing a wait and see. That was weird to see that.
It is, isn't it?
It reminded me of the whole Jarvis thing. I thought
that too.
Yeah. Matt Fraction has written Iron Man before, so there is that.
Well, like when you get to it, like kind of, I want to get my thoughts on Batman's kind of tech too, because I thought it was really cool what they did with the tech side of everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's really high tech in this. He's really, it's hold on, I had a great picture of it and I can't find it. Yeah, God damn it. And StreamYard doesn't allow you to here we go. I'm going to pull up Derby Comics. You guys did a really good job, so I'm going to give you your credit here. But it doesn't show me the cityscape I had pulled up. But let me bring you up to this, because this is really cool. A lot of the covers give you there's breakaway covers. When I get these back in, I'm going to do a show and I'm going to bring it, because I had them, but like I said, I got shorted and I sold out. I actually had a copy put aside for the show, and you know how that goes. One time I did that, and actually I was on the air. I don't know if you were with me, Brad. I was on the air, and somebody bought the copy while I was on the air. Like,
oh, wow.
It happens. Let's see. Sites, PDFs, share screen. So there's this. Okay, so here's some of the tech that Brad's talking about. This tablet. There's a new character, Dr. Zeller. She's a brand new character, so her first appearance is there. The art in the panel breakdowns. Can you guys see that? Do you have it on there? I don't like this costume. I really don't like this costume. I don't like those seams going down the front breast. I hate that. I don't like the shape of the bat. I don't like the color of the bat, and I don't like the blue. But it's not horrible. It's fine. It's fine. I wish he would just. I like Batman all black, no trunks.
Me too. Oh yeah, I hate trunks when it comes to like any superhero as well. I'll agree with you on that one.
I've become Team No Trunks of Superman, but I've always been Team No Trunks of Batman.
Yeah, because it's like I get the whole. I get the whole like it's the circus strongmen thing, but even now,
in 1938, I got it.
In 1938, yeah, exactly. So I'm like, that's not the way it works now, and it's like it just looks stupid now.
Yeah, and this is the breakdown of his utility belt. There's actually a detailed breakdown of his utility belt. He's got a lot of stuff in this belt. His cowl has a lot of interactive stuff in it. I thought was cool.
And I thought it was really cool the way they where they would have the cowl or the gauntlet gloves or the Batmobile. They would have the little the little word balloon or word bracket that would say it's like, here's what the tech is, here's its functionality, here's its capability, etc. So I thought it was really awesome the way they illustrated. Here's how each kind of new tech augmentation of the suit really functions.
Yeah, and this is the kind of stuff Batman would have if he were operating right now. It's actually more realistic in this comic than it is in some of the movies. Because some of the movies, even the grounded movies, he's got some shit that's like, okay, dude, seriously. But everything that he has in here is relatable to people who are using just regular cell phones, tablets. When you're playing your video games, a lot of people got the VR shit on there. Just imagine a guy with $1 billion being able to get the best out of all that. And I felt that was more here. There's the city. I love the way he draws the city. And then when the city at nighttime, I'm looking for one of those. It literally looks Blade Runners.
Look at the Batman.
There's Gordon.
Apparently, Fraction actually spent like months like mapping out Gotham, like elaborately planning out how the city's laid out.
Oh, did you guys see the Batman building there too in the background of that one panel? It's like if you've been to Nashville, which I have, when I used to live in Fort Campbell, so yeah, they have the Batman building in Nashville. So there's a little bit of a nod to that there. Like I have an actual Batman building in Gotham.
I'm looking for that. Like I said, I had one pulled up and it would not let me pull it up. But it was beautiful. Like I said, it gave me Blade Runner vibes, and it's at the perfect angle that I had on here. But like I said, it's damn it. All right, I'll bring it up later on when I can find it. But yeah, it was a nice. It was a nice. That's why I wish I had the comic here with me again, because like I said, I got severely shorted. Kind of pissed off because some of those covers they had this. I completely ran out of the silver the blind bags. Fucking gone.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even get a chance to do my usual pictures of those. How you doing? Like I like to do the pictures, but I can't find it. But that's fine. But yeah, I enjoyed the. You can jump into this anywhere. You don't have to have bought it before. There are certain things, certain carryovers from certain storylines that are fine. They introduce a brand new Doctor in here, that you've never seen. The storyline is him basically explaining. He gives you the characters in it, give you the layout, everything you need to know. This is going to go on my shelf as one of those, one of the jumping on points. Like I have Absolute Batman. I have, a lot of the trade paperbacks that you guys see when I give you a tour of the store. Just things that you can, if you're intimidated. There's 1,100 issues of these comic books. They've been around since the Model T. So where can you jump in? I'm not a big fan of reboots. I don't really consider this more. It's more of a reimagining because the same people are the same people.
Yeah, and it's not like they're restarting and showing Batman's origin or anything like that. No, it's like, okay, it's just like you can jump on because you're not jumping in the middle of an already progressing story. That's really what they mean by that.
And also, Gordon not being commissioner, I believe, is a carryover from something else. So it's not like you're completely rebooting anything. So once again, people who are trying to sell you something that's good, adding the word reboot to it is like literally defecating on the top of my head. That's what that does. It kills your momentum. This is a real good reimagining and realignment because it's all familiar. But like I said, if you want to call it reboot, it's good enough to overcome that term. It's selling well. It's selling well everywhere I've talked to people about it. It's sold out here. And it's taking advantage of, what's going on with All In, what's going on with Absolute Batman. I can easily turn somebody who's already buying those titles into this. And if you stuck with Batman throughout the last 5 or 6 years, this is something for you. I think you'd be fine. People seem generally excited about it. I was skeptical about it because, once again, you have the R word, and you have the R word with something that it should never be mixed with, and that's DC.
You have the R word. I love, William, how you have a religious aversion to reboots.
Yeah, I mean, reboots in DC is like pineapple on pizza. They don't go together.
Hey, I love pineapple
on pizza.
Together. Come on.
They don't go together. You may as well put asphalt on your pizza. But anyway, I was impressed. I got a good feeling from this. It looks great. The covers are great. The artwork. The one thing I'm not a big fan of the blue and but Reason why they were doing that when they bought, a lot of artists like that, going back to Neil Adams, everybody else, is when he's in the nighttime and he's doing just regular action, the blue makes him stand out.
Mm-hmm.
Tactically, he's Batman. It's like I wouldn't want a ninja wearing a crosswalk vest. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
He's operating like predominantly in the dark. I don't need your underwear glowing in the dark. But for the narrative purposes, I got it. I understand. Like I said, not the worst costume in the world. I just don't like blue, and I don't like the draws outside of the pants. But that I got past that in like 2 seconds. Gave it it's a really quick read, 22 pages. But I really did like the interaction towards the end with Killer Croc, and I'll let you guys read it for yourself. There's an interaction. There's an interaction between the doctor that sends Batman after him because they don't want him to get killed. Zeller and Bruce, and then there's that interaction carries over to the final pages of the issue with Killer Croc and Batman, and actually Bruce because he fucking takes off his cowl. I don't get that, but that's fine. If you're currently reading Absolute Batman, and you know the relationship he's developed with Waylon, who is Killer Croc there, it kind of is very parallel. And it's tragic what happens in what I think is going to happen in Absolute Batman, because that was one of his loyal friends, and now he's going to be turned into Killer Croc by Arkham and all this sick shit that's going on with Bane and Joker and Ra's al Ghul and Brainiac. These are a bunch of villains that are not just generic villains. I'm like, oh, okay, you're the villain. You just got to do what you got to do. I fucking hate these guys. I hate everybody. Every villain that's been introduced in the Absolute universe are people I need to see have their asses kicked. So I can't wait for all that to come to fruition. So Batman #1, I recommend it. Despite the R word that is attached to it. They did a good job marketing it. The art is great. Like I said, disagree with the costume, but that's not a deal breaker for me. The story and the rest of the artwork in it is great. The covers are great. I hope to have some more in here. Check out my social media, and I'll review those covers. That's it. Batman #1. Go get it, or if you haven't already, if it's not sold out, it's selling well. Brad, did you get a chance to get this? Pick it up and read it.
Yes, I did. Maybe had a chance to read it a little bit before it hit the comic book shelves, and definitely. I mean, you've said everything I was thinking. It's definitely it's a great reimagining. Like what I said about the tech, that really was a real standout for me. Like the kind of the way it emphasizes like the tech aspect of Batman, and again, this is like this is almost like akin to like a year one kind of like a new look at him as far as his relationship with the police and kind of the scene with Killer Croc and what have you, and a little bit of what we get. I don't got into it too much. A little bit of the backstory with like the genesis of Robin, like the different Robins. So really enjoyed this this new look at Batman issue. I'm kind of interested, kind of curious those like the circumstances of this, because we got Absolute going at the same time, and I mean, did Matt Fraction just kind of pitch them on like, I want to do like a Batman run that's like not in the mainline universe, and
so I don't know if he pitched it to him. I think it lined up though. I think they all lined each other's events up with DC, with All In, Absolute, and then you have KO coming out next month. So I think this just basically, I think they fit it where they wanted it to be. I don't know if he pitched it or not. They didn't bring this up. I was not at this panel, Comic-Con. I was at the All In panel, so possible. Okay, so there we go. Oh, before I get going, you guys need to treat your host like a king. In 2 hours on All Coast, it'll be my birthday, and click that link. You know what to do. It's Fat Burger time.
That's good. Good advice to remember there.
Shut up. It's
click that link,
Starbucks time.
and then we can you can use we can use that actually as the
it's by William McKay. Listen, guys, I'm sorry. Brad's jokes are not going to be any funnier, no matter how hard he tries. He's trying.
3 men on the docket, so
he's trying to. Brad's jokes being funny is like somebody trying to resurrect roadkill. It's just not going to happen. But anyway,
we could add more comedy gold with it, with like adding something like on the level of Mystery Men to the slate to watch along. So
the same guy who bemoans Scary Movie
damn right
and
I do.
Spartans, all of which are horrible movies, by the way, but
and
somehow
none of which are in anywhere in the galaxy.
Somehow puts on his gloves and sifts.
And William decided to retire for the evening with
that
sifts through of Mystery Men and all that greatness, which is why I just muted him.
He can find a way to sift through the garbage that is all of these movies
because they're hilarious
and pick out a nugget of fucking shit.
Yeah,
that is Mystery Men.
Yes, because one is funny, one is well.
None of them are funny.
The other is not.
They're all same level stupid.
Mystery Men, no, comedy classic. If it came out 10 years later, it would have made at least $300 million.
It would have bombed. It bombed so bad it would have come out.
Okay, William decided to leave early again. Like I said,
you're making yourself look like a fool defending this movie. But anyway,
dude, anybody would agree. Anybody else would agree. It's like
you want to know why Brad's jokes aren't funny? Look at the kind of movies he's like.
A big
you want to know why Brad's dad's jokes don't land? They don't even take off. Look at the movies he watches. That's why.
Again, we got the chat that disagrees with me on
the brain damage that those movies do to you is it shows, man. Anyway, there you go.
Again,
you can even buy me a steak.
The response we're going to get.
You can even buy me a steak.
That alone is going to like.
I'm ignoring Brad because, like I said, if you can defend Mystery Men and shit like Ace Ventura, but have the audacity to try to bash movies who are just as equally bad.
Frontal lobe.
Anyway, you can buy me a steak. I don't drink liquor, so we don't need that. But chip in whatever you think I deserve. And there you go.
Everything William just uttered right there is like, it's 500 years ago. Like that would have been like outright heretical. He would have been burned at the stake, stating out loud the words "scary movie" is of comparable quality to anything.
They are.
No, they're below. Like
I can't see. Do you have like shit goggles on? Do you have shit goggles? You just can't see this.
I need you to watching those. I need shit goggles.
Anyway, there you go, guys. Hook William up with some cake. Pop-Tarts. Anything you think I deserve. Have I been a good host this year? This rotation around the earth. This trip around the sun. Brad, just ignore Brad. Don't judge me on Brad's bad jokes. Judge me on how good I've been to you. Okay. Once again.
One is hilarious. One is an atrocity.
You know how Darkseid has the anti-life equation? You're like the anti-funny equation. We don't need to look. We don't need to look for it. Though. It's right here.
Scary movie.
You don't need to span the galaxies to find out why you're not funny. It's just the equation is right there. Anyway. Since I have Jared the comic here with me, we're gonna jump out of order before Brad buries the show with bad jokes, and we're gonna go to a spectacular cover.
William made the worst joke of the evening with the comparison.
X-Men 142, X-Men 142, Days of Future Past. If you ever picked up X-Men, you know this cover. Even people who haven't picked up X-Men but have seen the movies, one of the better X-Men movies, be honest with you, of the Fox era, Days of Future Past, might be the second best one.
Signed by Chris Claremont.
I have one too. I actually have this issue signed by Chris Claremont. Yeah.
It's such a great story.
It is the story that that brought about a universe that brings a lot of characters long before Age of Apocalypse and things like that, where you would tell complete storylines in different realities. This was doing it. Obviously, now what I call, like I said at the beginning of the show, this is what I call a representative cover. And when I say representative cover, it means it represents something that happens in the comics. Unlike certain covers where it just gives you the person posing all crazy and sexy or whatever, and then the comic inside the comic that has nothing to do with that. Or in these days, variants where you have your A cover that is representative, but the other 10 or 20 covers are not representative or what's going on in the comic. They do that for collectors, and that's fine. But this was back in the day where this was a representative comic. This actually happens in the comic. Now, the only point I'm bringing up here is the cover, because that's the segment, is the cover. Even though we could go in for eons about the Days of Future Past, we did cover that story about a year or so ago. But on the cover, you have, let me go big here. You have Wolverine Storm is in one hand. Wolverine is jumping at the Sentinel, which is exactly what he does in the comics. And in the comics, it's far more graphic because in the comics, he gets all the flesh burnt out of him, and all that is left is his adamantium skeleton. Let me see if I can find it. Even though we're focusing on the cover, obviously that's still one of the cooler things that probably one of the most dramatic things that they would do up until X-Men 25 Fatal Attractions, where obviously and this is the John Byrne issue. Let's see. I want to get to that one scene in here. And it's Kitty Pryde is using Rachel to jump in, but they don't jump into their linear time. They jump into an alternate timeline. And for those of you not familiar with the Days of Future Past, it is a future line where the future where the Sentinels take over. They actually override their permanent their primary programming, and they take over. They put mutants in camps. They exterminate most mutants. And what you see here is the mutants that are not in camps, which is Storm, Colossus at the time. And they're telling two different stories because they're telling the story that of the X-Men fighting the Freedom Force, which are the ex-Brotherhood of Evil Mutants, and then a story, a parallel story to where they're in the future fighting their way out of the camps. There you see Storm. She's wearing the prison camp uniform, and then that's it right there. That's the most. That's what the cover represents, and as you can see in that lower picture there, you can see the smoldering heap. That is Wolverine's skeleton. This cover gets redone and redone and redone and reprinted. This is a reprint, even though I have the original. It more than anything, this storyline and more than anything established the Sentinels, who appear way back in I think X-Men number 12, if I'm right, Jared. They have been around. Yeah, they have been around for quite a while. Master Mold. Then you have Nimrod that would come. This actually came out in 1980. Nimrod would come out later. But this story established the horror that the Sentinels could be, mainly because it was they were no longer just a threat. This visualized if they succeeded, if Bolivia Trask and all the projects that came about to make this, if it ever came to fruition, and that gave them more of a sense of urgency to stop the Sentinels, to stop Trask, to stop Tolliver, all those guys who Project Wide Awake, all that shit was basically a metaphor for racism, putting people in concentration camps. Mm-hmm. That's where Magneto's storyline would line up. It got to the point, and that's why when they do the X-Men movie and they open up with a Holocaust concentration camp, that's something they strayed away from a lot in the comics until Chris Claremont got hold of the comics. Because in classic X-Men #1, you started seeing him write. He writes a story where Magneto's he first gets his powers. He kills the concentration camp guards, and his wife sees her. His pregnant wife sees him do that, and she thinks she's scared, and that's how his wife leaves him and goes off to have the twins. But this was Chris Claremont getting to that point. Him and John Byrne. This was them at their best. 1980 was them at their best and at their best story. I mean, the Shi'ar storyline is good. The Dark Phoenix story, all that, the Phoenix storyline, the original one, issue 1 or so, were all good. But this was the one that really, let's kill one of the most popular characters in comics right now, but we're not really going to do it. But once again, this was one of those things. And when this is 1980, this was before comic book stores were as prevalent as they would be in the mid-1980s. And when you were at 7-Eleven or the PX or somewhere and you saw this grabbed you. This may even grab you if you weren't getting the X-Men, because it's such a spectacular. Somebody's getting burnt up. You may not even know who the fuck it is. You got to get this. And this cover is iconic. Iconic is the short word I want to. All right, so now I'm going to head to the chat. Now that we seem to unplug the bad Brad joke machine.
We'll plug it back in when we watch Mystery Men.
You're going to be the only one enjoying it. All right.
I will.
Welcome back,
we're going to have the audience cheering it on.
You say that all the time. You say that all the time, and then the audience is cheering you on
time.
because they're trying to get the blood vessels to pop out of your head, and that seems to be a goal.
Again, uttering. I just can't get my head around the idea that uttering the sentence out loud. Scary movie of comparable quality to anything, even if you don't like it. It's like that's enough to like.
Oh, you know what? I'm sorry, Brad. You're right. I'm not accurate. You know why? Scary movie franchise.
No, we're not letting that come out. Whatever I was gonna. No, mute. You're still muted.
Scary movie is
not on here.
As awful as it is.
No, it will not be uttered.
It made money.
Will not be uttered.
Too bad.
Which one's a cult? Which one's a cult classic? Which one
made money?
Which one's a cult classic? Which one
made money? Which one bombed? Which one bombed to the point you're still begging for a sequel over a quarter of a century later? While the Scary Movie project, that I don't like, by the way, has had too many sequels.
And what else bombed? Blade Runner.
Yeah, sequel to that.
But did it bomb?
Where's Mystery Men 2?
Did it maintain? They're going to come back. They said they want to come back for it.
Where's Mystery Men 2? I want $1 million. In fact, yes, whoever in the chat, I didn't go get Powerball, but I won $1 billion. I'm not getting that, huh? Oh, yeah, so there you go.
When we're doing that watch party, it's like I'm telling you, everyone's going to be on my side.
Yeah, because they're probably not going to tune in because they're going to be like, Brad's going to be telling jokes.
No, I'm going to be laughing my ass off at this hilarious movie.
Okay.
So there you go, the audience will be.
Brad, I forgot to ask thoughts on Tyson and Floyd Mayweather fight confirmed.
God, that's going to be another we saw the last Tyson fight went.
Tapping out on that one. No, I did not. I don't know if anybody won it today, but my chances of that are like any strike. All right. Who watches Dexter on here?
Not me.
The hell's wrong with you, Jared?
I have too many shows I'm trying to keep track of.
Yeah, you need to, whatever. Dexter Resurrection. I was terrified when I heard that they were doing a follow-up to New Blood, and I'm like, how are you following up that dreadful show? And they did with a show called Desert Resurrection, and it's great. I have watched all 10 episodes. It answered all my fears. It healed the wound that was Dexter New Blood, where they took us as idiots. The problem with Dexter New Blood, and for the most part, the last couple of seasons of Dexter, is that they spent 7 years, treating you like intelligent, smart fans that are following the serial killer around and thinking like him. The last 2 years of that series and almost all of New Blood was treating us like we couldn't figure out a Scooby-Doo ending. And it was bad. Nothing made sense. And I wasn't going to do it again. I'm like, you know what? Fool me once, twice, I'm done. But you know what? I was drawn to this. And the premise is I won't give you spoilers because I want you guys to watch it, but Dexter is in New York. He's in New York because that's where his son relocates. And his son has got himself into some trouble, some Dexter-type trouble, figure that one out, and needs help getting out of it, but he doesn't know Dexter's alive. Last he saw at the end of Dexter New Blood, he shoots Dexter. And he shoots him in the chest. Dexter should be dead, but it's Hollywood. But so he heads up to New York, and he he starts tracking serial killers there. He jacks a rideshare guy and then assumes his identity because Peter Dinklage, Tyrion Lannister, Toxic Avenger, is a billionaire in New York who likes to collect serial killers. He has them all gathered. He has these dinners for them. He collects trophies from them, and they all get together and talk about their kills and what it's like to be a serial killer. Except there's a conflict here because these people are killing innocent people, whereas Dexter has his code. So that's not going to go well. Peter Dinklage is great in this. There's a lady that I've never seen it anywhere, even though she's been in some stuff. I guess I've seen Kade Sharif. She plays a woman named Detective Wallace. She's eccentric. She kind of reminded me of Monk, but not the compulsive disorder shit. Whenever she's trying to figure out something and put pieces together of a clue, she carries around these headphones and she keeps playing Staying Alive. And that helps her think. And I'm thinking all the way back to Sherlock with Moriarty. Every time you see him and his phone would ring, it would play. So she's great. She's eccentric. There's other serial killers involved. Dexter, it's back to what Dexter should have always been. But this time they nailed the ending. The last 2 episodes of this are brilliant. I wish I could have time traveled this person back to season 8 of the original show and to the entirety of New Blood. Now I see why we're not getting Dexter Original Sin, because you don't need it. You don't need it with this show. If you want to do flashbacks to Dexter, you can do it with this show. This show is great. I was terrified. I thought I was just going to be going through the motions watching this show. Batista is still a fucking moron, by the way. For those of you who haven't watched this, but you watched Dexter before, I don't know how Batista kept his badge for as long as he did. I don't know how Batista didn't get knocked off. I don't know how Batista, the way they depict him, puts his shoes on and can shoot a gun. He continues to be along that, but it works for narrative purposes. Uma Thurman is in this. She plays the guy's name is Leon Prater, who Peter Dinklage plays, and she's his special ops henchman. She handles all the problems. People that go outside of his rules, because he has these rules that you have to follow, or you get disappeared, and she's the one that makes the disappearing happen. She's great in this. His son Harrison, who I couldn't stand in New Blood, is actually pretty decent. Everything that was wrong with the last time I saw Dexter was solved. It's like they took some Pepto-Bismol and they chugged it down, and they took care of the diarrhea. That was the last show. So if you're in the Dexter and you have been staying away because of New Blood, which I almost was going to, it's safe to come home. It's safe to come home. There's no longer a hostage crisis in the house. You can come home. I love this show. I watched it right after we did our Peacemaker. I went right after that. Soon as we ended that stream, I went right into Dexter New Blood, and I was not dissatisfied. But you don't watch it, Brad? No, there's some martial arts in it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, is it enough? Is it like more than 30 seconds of it?
Not really.
Okay.
Not really.
I mean, there's quality and quantity to consider.
Yeah. Yeah. Once again, don't just say happy birthday to me. Don't just say happy birthday to me. Don't do me like that. I need a XXX tonight, people. No, I'm just kidding. My parents are on a cruise, so when they come back, they're going to treat me to my usual my birthday dinner, because their anniversary is 5 days before my birthday, but they go on a cruise every now and then. So they're out on the water right now. I'm not doing cruises, man. Ever since COVID, I'm like, I don't want to be on a boat. Well, all it takes is one person to get sick, and everybody's sick. And, all right. But yeah, I hope I have many more birthdays. Time to welcome the GOAT of the night. Thank you, Game City Saber, and that means me. He is clearly talking about me. He is not talking about Brad. I am the GOAT. Thank you. Brad's like, don't treat me that way. All right. Everybody's talking Dexter and Perp and Max don't want to. Why don't they? Okay. Do they have? Are they traumatized by the previous series? If so, I can understand. Or do they not want to talk because they're too lazy and they haven't watched it yet? And see, that's a problem. Because I mean, I didn't give spoilers. Thank you, Ozzy. Hope you had a good time doing your thing out in the Outback. And we'll get to her. We'll get to her movies, and that's what brings up the whole Mystery Men thing, because we're doing Mystery Men and Wicked.
Yep.
One of them made a shit ton of money, and it's just not for me. The other one is an absolute abysmal failure of a movie. So we're going to be watching those.
It became a cool classic that the cast are working behind the scenes to make happen.
Sure.
No, I'm looking at the quotes right now. I can pull them up if you want to.
Well, no, pull them up.
Okay.
No, you know how long it took them 36 years to get a real movie, a sequel. You think an abomination like that is gonna get any done?
We got 5 scary movies. It's like, and
they made money, Brad. They made money.
The last one,
they made money. I don't like them. They are dreadful. Anyway, this is not a scary movie.
The Marvel made money. That doesn't mean a damn thing.
Yeah,
You always
exactly.
know Wolverine is insane. X-Men things are going down. Yeah, because the way John Byrne and Chris Claremont established the brutality of Wolverine. Remember what the storyline of what he did to the Hellfire Club? He chopped
Hmm.
them up. Donald Pierce literally has a hate boner on him. Lady Dexter, he carved those fools up. And that was back when we're gonna compromise with you, Chris and John. We're gonna do black for blood or brown for blood. I'm like, it's blood. I know what it is. That's fine. Remember we chopped those fools up, and that one infamous cover where he's got that sewage grater over him. He's into the water, and he's turned up. And it's because that's the issue where he cut up all of Donald Pierce's men, and that will later come back because Donald Pierce will come back with the Reavers and Lady Deathstrike, and that was one of the main things. Wolverine was the one he wanted to kill the most. But yeah, Wolverine was you knew crazy to think we're talking about Tupac and Biggie on Eazy's birthday. Eazy's birthday is tomorrow. He died. He would have been wow. He would have been. He'd have been 60. Holy shit! Eazy died when he was 35. He died 30 years ago, so he would have been 60. Fuck that little dude. He's just like I said. He and Biggie and Tupac are just frozen. It's like Hendrix. It's like all these people who died young. You just have them frozen in your mind as these fucking kids. Because he died. He found out he had AIDS. 3 weeks later, he was gone. 3 weeks later, he was gone. But yeah, Eazy's birthday is tomorrow. Eazy's birthday is the same as my birthday, Queen Elizabeth I, Pinhead, Doug Bradley. I actually celebrated a birthday here with Doug Bradley. We got, remember Mondo, our wrestling guy who comes on when we talk wrestling? We actually got Doug Bradley hammered at Palace Station one year. Pinhead from Hellraiser 3. How you doing, Reyes? What's going on? Smash the like and subscribe button. Do all that stuff.
Hey, Rhea, will you be joining us for the Mystery Man watch party? Because I bet you're a fan.
The
You bet better taste than William does.
Does blue help camouflage in the dark better than black? No, blue actually reflects light easier. So,
and so, like my understanding, also in comics, is the whole genesis of the blue and gray with Batman is the idea is like it made it easy. It's easier than black, like emphasize, like his musculature and like the different the way the suit's designed and things like that. If it's all black and comic book form, that's hard.
You don't want him blending in when you're trying to tell a story, even though tactically he should not want to be seen like that. He's like a ninja. It's like a ninja.
Yeah, but when you do live action, that's like then that's where it's all been entirely all black, or like in Ben Affleck's case, it was black and gray. And even like with that, it's like the black and gray still function as far as like keeping them in the shadows, in live action.
Yeah, but when you look at
it was a dark gray. If it's a dark enough color, it's like it doesn't
reflect the light.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, best rap trio almost was Easy, Tupac, and Notorious.
Even here, it's like you see how it's gray, but also kind of black as well. So there you go.
What is that? Is that what figure is that? Oh, okay. Well, that ended that conversation of where can I get it?
Yeah, I have like most of the ones for the entire Justice League.
Holy shit, dude! That's like a mortgage right there. Those things ain't cheap. I always wanted to get in a Hot Toys, but I would only have one.
He came in a 2-pack with Superman over here.
You're like Robert Meyer Burnett, man. Because that guy is he gets those. Those things are like super expensive. I've never taken them out of the package. Yeah, there's a lot of stupid shit went back in the day. Batman was called the Dark Knight. While in the blue and gray, yeah, I mean Dark Knight. It's still like Neil Adams drew him even with the gray. He would darken it up, but like I said, I'm not a big fan of blue in any Batman. I know it's traditional, but I think if you're a guy who creeps out of the shadows, then you should be wearing all black, and you shouldn't be wearing your drawers on the outside if you're
exactly. If you're trying to intimidate someone. Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, look, his underwear's on the outside of his pants. Yeah, that's scary for very different reasons.
I don't
even think it works on Superman personally.
No, it doesn't.
Well, like now that we've seen like in comics and movies and on TV, no trunks. I've become team no trunks.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, with the blue and gray, I thought the in the Flash, the blue and gray suit, for Bound in the Flash, that actually worked pretty well. I thought.
I didn't like all that other stuff on it, but I thought it was
like the
all right.
chest plate and all that. Yeah. Well, it's because
Yeah.
it's also a stunt suit, so you can like ride the motorcycle and stuff like that.
Well, the Affleck suit in the Flash, I did not like overall because it looked like he had all this essentially Lego armor on him.
That's what I mean. That's good on there.
Yeah, and
yeah,
I go,
it's kind of a
"What?"
necessary evil because again, it's what the stunt guy has to wear to ride the bat cycle. So he has to, like that standing shot that Rui points out. It's like it's kind of a necessary evil. You have to keep it there to maintain the continuity of the scene.
But it's also like I don't like a Batman standing like this. Like I'm sorry, no.
Yeah, it's like you freeze it just the right way. That has almost like a little bit like almost like an Adam West kind of look. If you freeze frame it just the right way, he's got his hands crossed. Yeah. So,
Dramatic art stock would probably even make Corn Sweat. I don't know about that.
No.
Yeah, like I said, like New 52 established no Trunks in comics.
I don't know.
And Man of Steel, it was in movies, and then Superman and Lois was on TV,
live action. If you look here, it's like you have the like belt there to like break up the blue, and it works without the trunks.
And that's all you really need. Like this is somebody who's tried to stylize it as if it would be in comics. It works as good as it can, but
it looks like a diaper.
Yeah, because he's not wearing. He's not wearing like a Speedo type thing here. If you look closely, he's wearing in the movie. He's wearing trunks, so they did it accurate that way. Maybe if they did more of the crop.
I mean, they're like the trunks are like the size of like swim trunks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
like Christopher Reeve or Brandon Routs. Yeah,
like in that thing. So, how you doing, Azteca? What's going on?
Yeah, second.
Let's see. We can say the R word now. Get ready, senior nerd. No, I don't embrace reboots. To embrace reboots, the ones that they're always talking about is to embrace laziness and unimaginative storylines. Like Jared, you had something on your thing that I saw was kind of interesting. I was going to jack it, but I didn't have enough time for a topic because you guys are talking about the New 52 and Rebirth, and somebody you were going back with was trying to like either. Explain the differences and the merits of which ones made money and all that. And I was like, they were both disastrous in my opinion. Even though there were certain things within them that had merit, the overall concept of the New 52 and Rebirth were disastrous. It took the faith and the trust in DC continuity and it flushed it down the toilet and did a lot of damage to a lot of things people were working on prior to all that happening. There were people, and then the second time around, there's a whole bunch. There's like documentary on YouTube. I should drop the link one time if I can find it, where there were creators that were working on things that were not too happy to have what they were doing shoehorned into this new continuity. It wasn't where their stories were going, and they kind of lost control of their own individual narratives in order to do this big old reset. I remember, I think George Perez might have been one of those guys. I know George Perez was working on things. Like great George Perez was working on something that got, I think, disrupted by that. So I think that for long-term collectors that were buying in that particular time, if you've been collecting for a while, to have that happen to you twice in a 4-year period was I didn't think it did. And it just it's lazy. It's lazy and it imbalances your company. No one person should be able to do that. Even with Scott Snyder. Scott Snyder still has to collaborate with everybody else, and they're all on board. He pitched All In. He pitched the Absolute Universe. He pitched KO, and everybody was on. He didn't really try to force that down. He's saying, I'm going to do my thing, but I'm not going to destroy your thing.
Well, I kind of wish you would destroy Tom King's Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
It'll run its course.
Do me a solid there, Scott. Come on, save me from this idiot.
It's got.
But see, here's the thing, though. You have Absolute Wonder Woman. You don't have to read.
That's the thing. Because as soon as Absolute Wonder Woman came out, I dropped the normal Wonder Woman from my pull list because I'm like, I want to read actual Wonder Woman that also is an Elseworlds or crap Wonder Woman that has a child made of clay that everyone hates. I'll go with that.
I want all these kids to go away except for
Me
Damien.
too.
And
I
Scott,
want all these good
while
things
you're at
to
it,
go with.
like retcon for Aaron, also retcon Daniel O'Neill's Wonder Woman.
It's already been retconned down. What are you
Yeah,
talking
it's already
about?
been. I mean,
Well,
that's
retcon for
crisis.
like double, like triple retcon it, like retcon
Triple retcon it. It's
You
like
really- you-
erase it and then burn it and then
Yeah.
burn the ashes.
Yeah.
No, I think time has done enough for that one. Authentic pizza Napolitano has two toppings.
That's
basil,
why
tomatoes.
the thing is like I have a substantial Wonder Woman audience on my channel, obviously, and like one of the things that like they bring up is like, Jared, are they going to retcon away King's Wonder Woman run? I'm like, just give it time. I guarantee you, I don't think that Wonder Woman's daughter is going to stick around as long as like Damian or John has. I really don't, because I've been covering comics for like 5 years. I have never seen a backlash against a character like this.
Yeah, I really, to be honest with you, Jonathan Kent.
Mhm.
I don't like that character probably much more than you don't like the Clay daughter. What's her name?
Really? Yeah.
I
find him
don't
boring.
I find him unnecessary.
He is.
I find him unnecessary in the reality and everything. I know how he got here and I know why he's there, but you can undo that. And I'm hoping, what I hope is there is some kind of retconning, but not a wholesale Jeff Johns type of thing. Just retcon the characters I don't like.
But
I'll give you a list.
But wait, wouldn't that be a reboot then? So you're advocating for a reboot if it benefits you? Oh, hypocritical.
No, reboot is rebooting everything.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I mean. We actually went through quite a lengthy explanation of how misused that term. A reboot, like I said, Buffy, people doing Buffy, if you're watching this show, do yourself a favor. Stop calling your show a reboot. You have Buffy fans out there that are like giving birth to a new generation who's about to give birth to another one. Some of these people are, they love that show and they love the familiars of that show. When you say reboot, the mind says, oh shit, are they going to get some brand new, you need to say revival. They need to know Buffy Summers is still there, because the moment you pop out with a Buffy that's not Sarah Michelle Gellar, why she's still on this planet and young enough to play that character, you're going to have a shit show. So it's a revival, and make sure people know that Sarah Michelle Gellar, it's not like a Wednesday situation where, Christina Ricci's playing somebody else on a show called Wednesday when she's playing Buffy. That's very important. And if she's playing Buffy, then it's not a reboot. You got that? Is that your hardcover or your softcover?
It's my hardcover. I got the hard covers of all three.
I got the hardcovers, and I sold out of those, and I'm down to Batman because I ordered Batman the most, because Batman's always going to be my biggest seller. But I'm all for realignment. I'm all for selective realignment. What James Gunn is doing is selective realignment. Nobody really wanted to say that term, but what he's doing, he's basically lining things up, the aspects of his story that work for his story, which, by the way, they've been doing in comic books like for 60 years. So I don't know why people can't grab hold of that concept, because everybody who takes over a book or a group of books does that. They do that because there are certain aspects of the storyline that the characters that they're inheriting that don't work with what they are going forward. We don't have to talk about them. We can get rid of them. We can retcon them. We can establish alternate universes like what James Gunn is doing. All you're really seeing is that's the universe he has decided to tell his story from is not the one that we saw before. But the only things that are different is that there's a Justice Gang there, and if you were to see a Batman in the Suicide Squad, if they ever did show that, it would be whatever Batman he chose, and then he would have it. And but that other universe is still out there. It's just not the one he's using to tell his story. To me, people are trying to figure it out. That's easy, man. They've been doing that in comics since before I was born, so I'm all over it.
Yeah, exactly.
I got $20 digital dollars. Tell you what, guys, we can start at 20 because we may do an open panel. If I can put up with Brad defending Mystery Men,
bring my reinforcements on here.
Deal with the circus that will be an open panel. At least you guys are funny, and you're not trying to be, but Brad's trying to be. I wish I had the clown with the hook that comes and drags you off the thing. So, fourth down. What do you think if you get that hate? Let's see, 10:07. Hello, Dexter. Oh my God, Dexter Morgan Forensic. Hey, you know what? I'm happy to have you here. You have redeemed yourself. He's an Uber driver now, or a U-car. That's what they call it. Like I said, the finale was just handled so well, and there were so many moving parts where they could have fucked it up, and they didn't, because when they've had the moving parts before in the previous series, they did fuck it up. They had less moving parts in those, less complicated ways to do things in those, and they still jammed them up. This one had so many ways, so many variables that this could have gone wrong, and it doesn't. It's like, you know what, they had to sacrifice the two previous iterations of Dexter. I don't count Original Sin because that's just basically that's a prequel, and I'm not really big on that one. But hi, Dexter, glad to have you. Congratulations on landing the plane and doing what I hope Jordan Peele does in his next movie.
Which apparently is in some limbo now.
Or his next produced movie. I guess him as a produced movie is not. By the way, this stream is brought to you by The Long Walk in theaters September 12th. Walk or die. That's pretty much it. I have seats for you guys in the local Las Vegas if you want to go see it. September 8th, AMC Town Square. Just come into the center and let me know. I also have tickets for him, which is a September 17th screening at that very same theater. I'm a little standoffish about that because anything Jordan Peele is on right now, I gotta steel myself up for that really great movie with that fucking ending. But he didn't direct this one, so I might have a chance. Also, Trauma Now. The first month is free. After that, it's $4.99. We covered Trauma Now last week. I tried to do my best to show you. There's a lot of stuff on there, and it's not just Trauma. It's stuff that Trauma distributes. It's stuff that Trauma backs. It's stuff that people give to Lloyd so that they can get on somewhere where people can see their stuff. If you're in the independent movie making, even if you're not into the craziness that is Trauma, if you want to support independent filmmaking, Trauma is 51 years old, is the oldest independent movie studio, and they're still kicking. So there you go. All right, back to the chat, and then let's see. Let me know when you got to go. You're welcome to stay, but I know you're on the East Coast, aren't you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm actually gonna go ahead and hop off now. But it's a wonderful time to have you, and William, you got to come on my show sometime.
Yeah, well, because you're earlier in the day. I do want to come in. I'm in your chat half the time, but I don't want you to know I'm there because if you know I'm there,
trying to jack my topic.
Yeah, if you know I'm there, you'll try to like not talk about certain things, and I need you to have a free spirit.
I'll be like, quick, everyone talk about Wonder Woman. Williams here doesn't care about Wonder Woman.
Because I need time. I need the hour in between my show to re-articulate, change the wording around. Mm-hmm. But sometimes I just outright say I stole your shit, and then I don't have to do less work.
I know. Of course.
All right, man. We'll keep producing. Where can they find you?
You can find me at Comics League, and actually in October, I'm releasing my own comic book on Kickstarter. So check that out. It's at the description of all my shows.
Is it your version of Wonder Woman that's meant to be a rebuttal to Tom King's?
Yes, as a matter of fact.
Is it Wonder Woman?
It's inspired by Wonder Woman. Let me put it
an Amazon. The Amazon, just call it that. Dude, that's fine. Hey, when you're ready to promote it, I'll bring you on. Just like we brought in Ernie Artbarker. We helped him reach his goal, and we'll help you reach yours.
I really appreciate that. that
all right, man. Have a good night.
All right, I'll see you.
Jared.
All right. Thanks for coming on, Jared. Talking geek, talking comic books. I wanted to cover Batman with him because I wasn't sure if you got it. I remember you telling me that you got it, but I wasn't quite sure, so I wanted to make sure you have.
I was able to read the first issue, first two. Don't go too much in that, but I was able to read that a little bit early, and maybe write a little bit on it pretty shortly here.
You have. Oh well, you kind of have. Deadpool Wolverine. There he is. He literally opens up the movie. So that stupid dance.
I mean, it made God, that song just like got like a
bye. Just drove me crazy
after that.
That drove me crazy. But that movie was widely entertaining. So yeah, I can be bribed. Ray, because we're moving through our topics really quick because that's the way I planned it. The anti-fun equation. No live. I'm doing a live stream right now. What are you talking about? You mean no live panels? that a guy, one of the two people that are responsible for me being apprehensive about doing live panels is bitching and moaning about there not being live panels. All right, that's cool.
These boots were made for long walking. That's just what they'll do.
Oh my god, that was horrible. The only reason I'm interested in Marvel Zombies is because of Blade. They have Mahershala Ali's whole likeness in the trailer. Not his voice though.
Yeah,
they didn't use his voice.
Todd Williams is voicing Blade in that. And it's Blade Knight because it's like under the whole.
Yeah, it's not.
So it's the combination. The character is a combination of Blade and Moon Knight.
I still think you're going to see him either in a Doctor Strange movie or you're going to see him alongside of Doctor Strange in Doomsday or Secret Wars. Definitely Secret Wars. That's the perfect for some of these characters. If they have characters cast for the new generations of these characters, I can't think of a better way to introduce them when you have everybody amped up in that type of big event. Give them that kind of momentum. So yeah, I really think you are going to you see Mahershala Ali. I just don't think it's going to be in a solo movie first. And I think that's the way to do it. All right. No, that's not his voice. That is. Who did you say the voice was?
Todd Williams. Let me look it up real quick. I think it was Todd Williams is his name.
Deceased is great. I mean, it's the covers for Deceased. They would mock up the covers for the original stuff. I love Deceased's covers.
Yep, Todd Williams is the voice of Blade Knight. Is the character's name.
Okay. Which one spends time? Okay, you lost me there. All right. Why not ask your guest which movie he likes? What do you mean? Just randomly asking what movie of all the movies he's seen? What are you talking about?
And what's the opposite of long walk, short run? Yes, sis. We share the same distinguished sense of humor. So again, cementing we don't. Cementing we will never need a DNA. Proof is in the pudding. It's all there.
Anyway.
By the way, I saw you respond to my post about the Furious and Toronto. Yeah, I feel the same way. It's like, give us the trailer, give us the release date info, please.
Nobody watches Dexter. No, a lot of people watch Dexter, and him turning cannibal that doesn't fit the code. Yeah, he has a code. There you go, Harry's code. By the way, Harry, his father that haunts him in here is in this episode, and it's funnier than shit. Let's see. Hi, Braden. How you doing? Break that code. Be sure to hit the like, subscribe, all that stuff. Yeah, he's not cannibal. That's Hannibal Lecter. Yeah, he did. He killed a cannibal. He's killed over 150 people. All right, Dexter Homecoming. Go Uma. Yeah, Uma's great in this. I thought it was unnecessary. I didn't think it was bad. It was unnecessary. Given the drastic character arc changes that the character has gone through since he became who he is and the Dark Past and all that, I didn't really need to see what brought him there. The evolution from Dexter from season 1 going forward is all I really needed to see. They've explained it. They've explained. I mean, they show graphically, like in the original Sin, they show his mom getting cut up. They show his mom infiltrating the drug barons, all that. They show Harry, using his mom, and basically Harry to get her killed because he gets her involved, and she gets found out as an informant, and that's why his mother gets chopped up and left in there, and that's why Dexter goes after that and kills all those people. But I got those flashbacks. I didn't need to see that. I didn't need to see anything that Dexter gave me. Once again, done well. Kristen Slater's great in it, but once again, I don't need that. Give me contemporary. I'm done with prequels to the point. I mean, we've gotten away with some really good ones with Aliens and some of the things that we've done with the Alien shows, but even that's leading somewhere. If you're gonna do a prequel, I want you to do a Godfather style. My Godfather style, Godfather 2, where they're giving me a contemporary current day story or current as far as they go, and they're giving you a flashback. And Godfather 2, for those of you who haven't seen it, animals. One of the greatest sequels ever made. But Don Corleone, Vito Corleone is being played by Robert De Niro for a role he won the Academy Award for. And he's playing a younger Vito, and it shows how Vito escaped Corleone because his father was killed, and all his family was killed, and he escapes and becomes who he is. And they show you the old country, but at the same time, they're showing Michael Corleone, Al Pacino's character, as the modern day or the current day Godfather, and they're going back and forth. So if you're gonna do those kind of shows, give me a current show at the same time you're giving me that. I don't like prequels because they box me in. The stakes are not there. Like the Obi-Wan battle with Darth Vader and Obi-Wan. Wow, I wonder who wins this. I wonder if anybody dies in this battle. I know they don't because we've already seen everything. So yeah. Thank you, Ron Roth. Like I said, we're at 1 hour and 9 minutes till I transition over to the next year and the Pacific Coast time. East Coasters, I'm already there. They haven't watched the original show? Dude, that surprised me. Some of the crazy shit Perp watches and had me watch. He hasn't seen Dexter? Wow. Yeah, that's Brad's fault. So yeah. Let's see. Gold confirmed. That's like $500. Okay. What looks amazing? What are you guys looking at? Oh, you guys are looking at the comic books. Okay. If you watch Peacemaker, are you now confused about what's canon, what's not? No, I am not. And this is from CJ8. And are you fully expecting Ben Affleck DCU Batman now? No and no. I'm not. Maybe because it's the comic book geek in me that has been following these type of storylines.
Where's that comment? I'm not seeing the comment.
What?
What the comment you're reading? I'm not seeing the chat.
Oh, hold on. I have it highlighted, but stupid. Let's do this. Let's do this. Hold on. I will get to that super chat. There we go.
Okay. Well, no, he's not going to be DCU Batman. But
Our show started.
But I mean, that's a separate question. Where it was like, will you see him as Batman again? Versus will you see
yes. That latter half, yeah.
No, there's a motorcycle going off. There I see.
Dude, out of nowhere. It's like these people teleported in with their hoopties and shit out here, which is kind of cool. I love seeing this parking lot full. It's too big not to be full on Saturday night.
But yeah, two separate questions. Like, will he be DCU Batman versus will we see him as Batman again? And like the first one that's a hard no. The second one, that's a William says. I think we're all very much very much hope so. And it's I give it a couple. Give it some time to heal from the calamities of the bad management that led to him walking away from the role. I would say I say yes. I think William does too. It's all part again. So it's you when you talk about see him as his Batman, it's like it's in the context of like you see his Batman within what he signed up for. That's where you would see his Batman again. The same for like Henry Cavill and Gal Gadot and Ezra Miller and Jason Momoa and Ray Fisher, all the whole band. It's like
Momoa's still working.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But well, again, like we've posited the idea, and like Film Junkie asked, he was like, "What if like the last 3 episodes of season 2 involves like his Lobo meeting his Aquaman?" And that's maybe that's like the vector, to have how these two timelines coexist.
It's gonna be a wild ride. How are you doing, Carlos Miramontes?
But yeah, I mean, it's like Ben is not going to be the DCU Batman. That is we can say that quite confidently.
This is actually true. This is also true for several other colors. Black was the most used color in comics because of not just some of the characters, but the lettering, the shadowing, the coloring was black. So it was, you had to, when you had it done in bulk like that. So yeah, that's one of the things I heard. I also heard like with green, like I've always been told, I don't know how true it is, but back comics are called 4-color fantasies, and you use 4 colors to make everything that you needed to. But the amount that you had to use to make green was tough. That's why the Hulk was gray, in the first one, and he's green after they figured out the comic was going to do well. That's what I hear. I don't know how true it is. I always wanted to ask Stan Lee that, but I never got a chance to ask. That's the one time I got to meet Stan Lee. Things were going so fast. I was escorting him to a stage with
You're
Todd
basically like
McFarlane.
the bouncer of that
Yeah.
autograph
And
line.
I have that picture. In fact, let me see if I don't feel like taking it down because I can't get it. But let me. Well, you guys have seen the picture. You guys have seen the picture, right? With me, I'm literally knelt down next to Stan Lee. And I was like, dude, that was here at the Amazing Comic Con. And every time somebody comes in and comes in and sees this, I can have all kinds of cool shit. You can kind of see it up there top. There, see it next to William Shatner. So it's right there to the left, right with the green shirt. So every time I could have cool shit out, I could have the Galactus bucket out, I could have the dude, I could have like a signed comic, I could have anything out there, right? They zero in on that thing, man. They zero in on it because it's Stan Lee. That's how important Stan Lee is to this day. Okay, yeah. Thank you for the $5 super chat, Fourth. It's only the DC kids need it or the Bat family. I don't know. I know they do in Teen Titans. So this is where I'm gonna pick and choose what I want to watch in this universe because some of the stuff is just the subject matter. It's not has anything to do with James Gunn. It's the subject matter that's a turnoff for me. Once I see Booster Gold and Blue Beetle, I know a lot of people love those characters. I hate those characters. I hate them. Once I start seeing the JLA coming around the corner, and I'm already starting to see it with the Justice Gang, I hate Look, Keith Giffen, I know I love your work. You are influential. You are great, but not for that. Oh. And Lobo. Couldn't stand Lobo as a kid because he was a poor man's Wolverine, in my opinion. All right, hell yeah, bro. We need some help from the Good Witches to remove Tom King. Oh wow, Jesus. Yeah, Aaron, you're up there with Jared with this unhealthy.
Let him send out like or the good words send out like the monkeys. Take it, the flying monkeys take it out.
I understand what you're saying. I mean, it's because he's keeping his stuff because it's lining up with his story because this is his story continuation over. That's his option as a studio head. However, at least he's not destroying it. Somebody else could come along. If James Gunn says, you know what, I'm done, I retire, I have a hot wife, I just want to go lay on the beach with her, I'm done with this game. And somebody else comes over and says, you know what, you didn't destroy or consolidate anything. I can come back to any of these things. I can come back to any of these things. So the fact that he's leaving it out there, that he's telling the story from his point of view of that universe. Certain things happened in his point of view to make the story work that didn't happen somewhere else. Somewhere else, there's a Cable Superman. And I'm not just saying that to bring back the whole, that conversation up again. But there's an alternate version of each of these things, and he's chosen to take his own path to tell his story. I don't have a problem with that. He's not getting rid of anything. So, okay, I am way down. All right. Justice League International, William. Yeah, Justice League International. I hate saying it. JLI. And some of the lineup of that team, when you look at the covers, when they do the team lineups, I'm like, this book, oh, goodness. But there's a lot of Gen Xers that grew up with me watching reading those comics that love those comics, and I'm like, I cannot stand that run. Hi, how you doing, Droga? All right, and so got Dexter out the way. I got Phantom of the Opera. Hold on. Hey. Ouch. I have more of these, but I am a big silent horror movie fan. I think directors and producers are still taking a lot of things from the silent movie era, especially German expressionism, which is Phantom of the Opera is not. Um, the thing about the silent era is you didn't have all the bells and whistles to be able to make your point to tell your story. If somebody was feeling a certain way, they had two things to convey that. They had the words on the screen that would play in between the shot scenes and their expressions and their mannerisms. And even without makeup and all these things that, a lot of the things that we have today, they found a way to get their point across. One of the earliest movies to do that is the Phantom of the Opera. Lon Chaney is you know, I don't, whatever, I don't think I can say anything that has not been said about him, and his son, who would inherit that mantle. Um, I use the thumbnails. One of the most famous scenes is when Christine walks up on him while he's playing piano and rips the mask off of him. That's literally. I know people who know that picture that don't know what that is. But on September 6th, which is today for another hour, September 6th, 100 years ago today, audiences for the very first time saw the Phantom of the Opera. This would, for the next 100 years, influence a lot. There's a live movie. There's spoof movies done about it. There's Phantom of the Paradise that's done about it. There's a 2004 movie that's based on the Andrew Lloyd Webber version of which is one of the most highly regarded Tony Award winning things out there, with Sarah Brightman and Michael Crawford. And like I said before, I'm a sap. I have memorized every single. I will not sing. Don't ask. Every single verse, every single song of Andrew Lloyd Webber's Phantom of the Opera. Same guy who did Cat and Jacob and the Amazing Technicolor, all that stuff. Same producer, same choreographer. Phantom of the Opera. This was big scale back then. The sets that they made for Phantom of the Opera, the makeup at this time for Phantom of the Opera was something that was big. Now, Lon Chaney and his son did a lot of things with their face to make the role work. A lot of that contortion that he's doing here is a lot of it's him. The facial expression. If you ever were to look at Lon Chaney and his makeup without the facial expression, his expressions were like 90% of the gimmick. But this was the height of the silent era. The silent era would only last a couple of years later. They would still make movies, but once the advent of sound, like the Phantom of the Opera was re-released with sound later on, but after the advent of sound, it quickly went away. Even guys like Fritz Lang, who made Metropolis and did a lot of those things, he would go on to do movies that had sound once he escaped to Germany and got to America. So this was the height. I would have to say 1925 was the height of the silent movie era. They had been making silent movies since like 1910. I have Frankenstein up there. One of the very oldest movies ever made was a Frankenstein short. And by 1925, they were in the full throes. They were doing it the best you could be doing it. I think the only movie that surpasses The Phantom of the Opera, for me, and I'm a science fiction geek as well, is Metropolis. Metropolis is one of the most influential movies ever made. Metropolis, there are directors and science fiction people and anime. There are people today that draw from Metropolis. Blade Runner drew from Metropolis, and a lot of things drew from Blade Runner. So, Phantom of the Opera, classic horror, tragic, but it released today, 100 years ago. And no, I wasn't there for it. So those of you who are going to make old people jokes. Brad, have you had a chance to see this movie in your lifetime?
Metropolis? No, I have not.
No. Phantom of the Opera.
Oh, no, like a particular version or just this one?
The original, the 1925 one, the one that was released 100 years ago today.
Yeah, that one too. I've unfortunately not seen.
You have not, or you have?
No, I haven't. No.
Uncultured mother. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I know
free.
how that's sad. Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, you don't have to buy it. It's a public domain movie. It is in the public domain. It is on YouTube. If you want, you can watch it on YouTube. In fact, for those of you who want to give it a shot, let's do so. Same way we watched Nosferatu. it's public domain as well. Hunchback of Notre Dame, and New Universal would get certain rights back to a certain versions of it, but oops, what was that? Okay, let's go ahead. And this is something we could actually watch this one day, but I think it might bore you guys because, like I said, you might be like Brad. Copy radio. And then there you go. For those of you who want to watch it down the line. For those of you who classic cinephiles want to watch that, there you go. All right. Last but not least, let me answer some chat questions before I jump into Biggie, because that one might get extended. All right. Let's see. Laundra. He was in a movie. Wolverine's dead corpse. Oh yeah, you're talking about the skeleton. Wolverine, he's in there. He's dancing. Or he's being made to dance. Brad and William, if Ben Affleck comes back and it's not Batman, who do you want him to play? I don't know. I wouldn't be able to get over the fact that he's not Batman to the point where I can't.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah. I just want to see that.
Yeah, that's a cop-out answer, Anthony, but that's the only one I got.
Well, I don't think it's a cop. I mean, considering the circumstances of everything, I don't think it's a cop-out at all. To say it's like I want to see that heroic sacrifice ending of his Batman, more, with a, like see his. Oh, I will say, like, to kind of answer the question, I remember one thing I telling some friends, when BVS first came out, and like particularly with like the whole like how many good guys are left and how many stayed that way speech. I remember saying if he hadn't been Batman, I could have seen him as a pretty good Harvey Dent. I could have seen him as Harvey Dent.
Two-Face, maybe? I don't know. I never got to the point. By the way, here you guys go. It's an hour away from my birthday. It's like Comic-Con. You want me eating ramen or you want me eating good for my... You want me to start off this next trip around the sun? All right. What's ironic is I actually had a dream that you were working in a shop and Stan Lee walked in and I was telling you it was Stan Lee and you stopped everything to talk to him. Just remember, wow, that's a cool dream. If Stan Lee would have walked in my door while he was alive, that's exactly what would happen. I mean, we would stop everything, and we would be talking. There would be so many questions. I mean, I have 1,000 questions I would want to answer him. Let's see. Watch Phantom of the Opera twice on Broadway. I saw it at the Amundsen Theater in LA. You haven't seen Phantom? You guys? Well, like I said, it may not be your thing. I mean, I'm into the silent movie era. I have a. Let me see if I can show this to you guys. I have framed artwork where I just took these down from. I have an entire wall. If you look down there, you can kind of see it all down on the wall there. Those are all from the silent era. I have Metropolis. I have London After Midnight. I have Frankenstein, Phantom of the Opera. Let's see. I have Cabin of Dr. Caligari up there, and I switch them out. I mean, I love silent. I mean, I have a lot of silent movies on physical media here as well. So yeah, and I've held performances like on the 100th anniversary of Nosferatu on 2022. We actually went down to the coffee shop here and we set up a piano and we had a live pianist play the original score. All right, and we give it an original score. So. What was the Jacob? I'm sorry, Jacob. Yeah, that was one of the ones I didn't go see in person. The Phantom of the Megaplex movie on Disney Channel is probably the closest thing. Yeah, and then there's, like I said, there's a lot of remakes of it. Yeah, him, Hunchback, all those guys were the original. Like I said, this is what got Lon Chaney and the Chaney family. I mean, Lon Chaney was in a lot of stuff back then because he's a man of 1,000 faces. The original Clayface, in part, was based on him. The original one was not a musical; it was a silent movie. Being in a Phantom of the Opera, it's a musical. How did they pull that off? Being to do it, they didn't. Well, you had a musical score to go along with it. You had a musical score, but you didn't have them singing like you wouldn't have them singing to the. Jeez, keep up, Brad. Wow, a lot of you guys have never seen it. I mean, like I said, if you're not into silent movies, I can understand. But if you ever want to see movies in a different way, because, like I said, I think we've been spoiled with a lot of the things we have. But yeah, I mean, it's a different take on movies, you know. I think so, yeah, because it's public domain. Yeah, I saw Penguin almost went and an Andor one for costume. There you go, let's go. There you go. Hook me up with some cake. You don't have PayPal anymore? You can cash app it. Faust is another good one I got. I have that here. Hexen. Hexen. There's a lot of them. There's a lot of them. William, being that this was an opera before, how did they pull off the Phantom of the Opera during the silent? Like I said, it's not about it's about opera, but opera singing is not part of that. The play they do opera, but here it's just about the characters and the music was provided. There's flying monkeys as we speak there right now. So, yeah. All right. You don't have to watch them all, but there's certain ones. I think Metropolis. If you're into science fiction, Metropolis is a good one. If you're into vampire movies, the very first vampire movie, Nosferatu, I would suggest that one. I think it's because mainstream horror film kind of left Phantom in the dust. Not too much millennial onward. So, yeah, but I see that with a lot with music and with movies is that a lot of people don't they never have to appreciate the lineage from all these things. If you look at if you're looking at movies, if you're looking at movies, you can see, and you talk to any director, you talk to a lot of the directors and people that are involved in these things, they will go back all the way back to the 1920s. Coca Ray wants to do open panel. That's fine. We'll do one here in a minute. Most of them are. Most of the ones in the 20s are because the way licensing was done back then. They just drifted in the public domain. Nosferatu was in the public domain. I think some of them are. I think Hunchback is still owned by Universal because they did different versions of it later. But a lot of them are. Some of them have been reclaimed. Some of them have been altered and added to, and then different versions of them. But a lot of them are. All right, the last topic I believe is the Notorious B.I.G. Christopher Wallace, Biggie Smalls. Now, this is coming from someone. Yeah, that might work. I mean, because like I said, who was it who did the 1 in 24? It was a known director, but now I don't talk a lot of hip hop on the show. I mean, I am preferential to rock, heavy metal, alternative music. So for me to bring up this next topic, this next person is not usual for this show. But while I was listening to all the stuff in the mid '90s that you guys hear me, talk about and put, on this show, I was listening to this guy. I was listening to Biggie Smalls, and like I said, every time I think about him and I look at the catalog that he produced at such a young age before he was killed, it just seems like he'd been around, forever. I mean, it just seemed like he was that he had hold on, somebody's messaging me that he lived till he was 60. Same thing with Tupac. I mean, I was at the point where if Tupac made another album, I was going to be like, okay, your ass ain't dead, dude. We need to go looking for Tupac at Area 51, like they say that. But what struck me about him was hold on for a second. I always got to answer the texts. It's my mom wishing me a happy birthday from the cruise. Wishing you a day filled with joy, much love, and many hugs. And oh wow, she sent a bunch of them. She's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's not even midnight yet. I usually have a joke with my parents that I wait till the last minute of their birthdays or the anniversary, 11:59. I call them and wish them happy, but so they turn it around to me. But One of the things I noticed immediately about him and Tupac, but a lot with him, is a lot of the people that were doing rap and doing things like that. A lot of them were wow, she's still keeping going. A lot of them were rapping about things that they weren't involved in. You know, I don't want to call anybody a phony because I'm not from that world, but a lot of these guys were coming up with things and they were rapping about them and they sound cool. They sold lots of albums and that was fine. But you had a certain subset of individuals, mainly those two individuals, Tupac, that were not just rapping about stuff. They were basically rapping about stuff that they were doing. You know, like we were talking about Ice-T last night doing the Insomnia stream. Ice-T raps about pimping and hustling and calls him. He did it. He did it while he was in uniform, by the way, which is kudos to you, I guess. I don't know, because he was in the Army. So he's rapping about that stuff, and he did it. He hung with Crips and Bloods here in L.A., where he was from. He's rapping about that stuff. Before he hit it big, you know, he was involved in, you know, some activities, drugs, things like that. And he was rapping about these things that he was doing, and rap was going to be his way out. He wanted to get out of that. He wanted to get out of that stuff. He was one of the guys who wanted to get the mansion on the hill and get away from all of that stuff, you know, because he'd already been through it. And unfortunately, he did not make it past the age of, I think it was 24, because I know Tupac was 25. By the way, Tupac was shot on my birthday in 1996. Tupac was shot. I remember I was out on, I was in the National Guard at the time, and it was our drill weekend because drill weekend always fell on my fucking birthday. I was on drill weekend, and we were all listening to the fight. It was the Tyson Seldon fight, and that's what started it all because he got into a fight, and it's crazy shit that went on afterwards. And that's where we heard the report that he'd been shot, and you know he'd been shot before, and so we all thought he was going to live, and then he passed away, I think, on September 11th and 12th. And he was another a guy who, like I said, should have lived to see a much grander age than he did. All right, 1972 to 1997. It's 24. 24. He had just turned 24. So after
I think so. I think some people might, you know, there might be stock people are starting to put more into this now.
Yeah. No comment. Lawyers come up in here. When you a lot of the music I would hear from him, unfortunately, even though I was there's the main songs that they were playing on, you know, Radio Walmart and all that. I knew of his music. He's another one of those artists where the appreciation grew because of the way he went. Unfortunately, he's rapping about the shit that ultimately came to him. He's literally rapping about that world. And I'm going to put in one of the songs that really, like, you know, that I just listened to the other night. That is just its rhythm, its cadence, its meaning, especially it's from the album called Life After Death, which is when it was released. It was released after he passed away. And it's called Somebody's Got to Die. Outside of Hypnotize, this might be my favorite song of him. Listen to the lyrics of that song. Listen to the lyrics of that song and juxtapose it on what ultimately happened to him. The kind of life he was living and tried to escape. He was literally this fucking mosquito. Was the kind of violence that he ultimately engulfed him with the whole East Coast, West Coast thing, which now 30 years later seems so fucking dumb. People getting shot up over that, over bullshit. You know, young black men should have been celebrating, making millions, and they're out doing stupid shit like this. and they claimed Biggie too. But that song in there, I'm pretty sure the name. I'm not. I don't know the details of what he did in his life before rap, but he always said it comes easy to me because this is what I lived before the rap game. And him and a lot of people who grew up in this environment would look at people, who were just rapping, video gangsters, what they called them, and they would make fun of them because you knew kill this goddamn one little mosquito. And when you hear his music versus some of the other guys of the '90s that were doing this type of music, they hit harder. It hit harder. You get the sense that it is coming from somebody who lived this. God, gotcha, son of a bitch. The song that really, in my opinion, really blew it up for him is a song called "Hypnotize." That's the song that everybody heard. You had to buy these albums to hear some of this other stuff because they weren't playing these songs on the radio. Some of these, if you listen to the one I just put on there, Somebody's Got to Die, it's explicit. Now there are other non-explicit versions of them. Who wants to fucking listen to those? And here's this one right here. And here's Puff Daddy in video. Now every time I see Puff Daddy, I can't get that damn baby oil shit out of him. But hey, like I said, he's innocent. Well, he's been proven guilty.
Yeah, he hasn't been sentenced yet.
Hasn't been sentenced yet, but
I apparently they did reach out to the White House for a pardon. His legal team.
Never say never. So there is Hypnotized. And this was back when he got with Sean Combs. Sean Combs was known at that particular time for doing a lot of sampling. And he would do overlays and things like that. And it was big. It was huge. And they made a lot of money out of it. And like I said, you hear this guy, and he was a big fan, from what I can hear in his lyrics, for the King of New York is one of Christopher Walken's better movies. And he's always calling himself the Black Rank Right, which is hilarious. And I was like, what does that mean? What does that mean? I looked it up, and I'm like, King of New York. He considered himself the King of New York. He's always wearing a crown. The logo that some of you members that are watching this channel, the logo, I got that logo from a combination of this picture. And let me get the button. So this button is a combination between, you can see it there. Hold on, get a bigger screen. Babe Ruth is who actually had it. I mean, with the New York Yankees, two people that were synonymous to New York. So that right there, I put that same crowd, put it on my head just as a gag to give away free buttons and use it as a logo. But yeah, that was influential with me. But Life After Death. The one that was released after he passed away, every one of those songs, it's like when I listen to Soundgarden now, when I listen to Fell on Black Days, I can't hear it the same way as before his suicide, because he dealt with depression from the moment that Soundgarden was at their height all the way up to the point where he committed suicide. And when I'm listening to this, I'm listening to a guy who legit was doing this shit, broke out of this shit, and at the young age of 24 was cut down by this shit. So Biggie was a better freestyle, while Tupac was better. Tupac was a poet. Yep, you're right. Tupac was a poet. He could have taught poetry in school. And that young man was articulate. Here's another one, 25, gone too soon over some bullshit. Tupac was literally, even without the rap game, if he wanted to give up rap and go to a university and teach poetry and poetry structure, he could have done it. I think he could have done it. There's a lot of stuff that guy could have done, and it's just yeah, they weren't gangsters, but they were gang affiliated, and they were, like I said, Christopher Wallace is his real name. Let's see, because it shows you up in here. Hold on. Yeah, I mean, he was getting arrested, but that was what was happening back in there. Let's see. Let me go all the way back to all right, Christopher George Latour Wallace was born in Cumberland Hospital in Brooklyn, New York. Wallace was the only child of Jamaican immigrant parents. His mother, Viola Wallace, who just passed away this year, was a preschool teacher, while his father, Selwyn George Latour, who passed away the year before he did, was a welder and a politician. At the age of 5, he began attending preschool. Quentin Lexington opened door. Let's see. His father left the family. His mother had to raise him while working 2 jobs. Well, he grew up in Brooklyn's Clinton Hill near the border of Bedford. Let's see, a child. Let's see. Okay, he spent most of his time on Fulton Street, where he was introduced to drug dealing, alcoholism, and gambling. Raised as a Jehovah's Witness, didn't know that. Wallace attended St. Peter's at Claver Church in Brooklyn, graduating from the parish elementary school in 1982. He excelled in English subject, Queen of All Saints Middle School. So, let's see. Yeah, he had, having grown up in a strict household, Wallace concealed the money he earned on the roof from his drug dealing money. So, yeah, he was living that lifestyle, and then, he wanted out of it. He wanted out of it, and he was out, and then that happened. So, let's see. So, let's see. Spice One. There's a lot of people, like I said, there's a debate that goes back. If you weren't from a certain area, that you shouldn't be rapping about certain things. But I'm not qualified to make that assessment. Biggie was. Let's see. Dr. Butcher, never heard of him until he died. A myth that all knew of him. Yeah, unfortunately, he wasn't around. He did a lot, but he wasn't around long enough. William, do you think that both Biggie and Tupac got mythologized? I don't even know if is that a word, mythologized, in terms of their rapping and lyrical ability, because it's for both of them because they died so young. In part, yeah. Like I said, I can't listen to Life After Death without thinking about that. Yep, hit the like and subscribe button for the 54 of you who are watching across our platform. For those of you who are watching on X or Twitch or any of the other platforms, do us a favor. Come over to here. See youtube.com/@the-Sci-Fi Center. And like and subscribe to us here. Hit the alert button for us here. It's great that you're seeing us on X, Twitter, whatever it's called. But our foundation of the channel is built on YouTube. It is a YouTube channel. And it helps us when you come over here, like and subscribe. All right, so now another song it's a Puff Daddy song, but it's called Victory. And I think I put this in the chat before. It's a Puff Daddy song, or P Diddy. Now at this time he was Puff Daddy, so I'm calling him Puff Daddy. It's called Victory. It opens up with both Notorious B.I.G. and Puff Daddy grabbing, and you hear him in the background. So it starts out with Diddy going. He's like, he's doing a monologue, and then he does his rap, and then it escalates. It's done to the montage from Rocky, and it escalates and escalates and escalates until Biggie comes in and gives his point. He has two passages in it, and like I said, if I were ever going to be a professional wrestler and I needed my entrance music, it's going to be one of 2 songs. It's going to be Carrot Rock by Smashing Pumpkins, or it's going to be this song right here. I wish we could play it, but you know what happens. We'll get bratted. Yep. That was Suge Knight. That was Suge Knight at the Soul Train Awards. That just escalated thing. Now he's another story altogether. Anybody who doesn't want their family, yep, that was Suge Knight. Oh wow, there's a story to be told there. Even though everybody denies that, that's pretty much how I heard it happen. He would intimidate people to get people out of their contracts. Yeah, Suge Knight went out to when he played football here in UNLV. Daniel Martin, nice to see you again. Biggie is a GOAT in my eyes. A lot of people say Jay-Z borrowed a film of Biggie. Yeah, Jay-Z's been around a lot longer. He had a lot more time to form himself. But they're both from New York. I mean, they're both and Jay-Z was in that Lifestyles too. So
Oh, I got a good one here. Brad told me that Biggie's
Suge Knight's into that. Jesus Christ.
It's funny. Funny you should pop in the chat tonight. Fourth, I mean Suge Knight. I mean Spidey. I mean Suge Knight. I mean whoever. I've actually I've interviewed the dude who played Suge Knight of Straight Outta Compton. Is R. Marcus Taylor. I did an interview with him about 7 years ago. Remember something else he was in. So yeah,
I thought you were going to say you interviewed Suge. I'm like,
no.
when were you going to fucking tell me that?
Well, it's. I mean, you're here from prison.
Yeah, he's in prison. He's doing some
he already had a rep like long before that, but then it's like just out in the open, just like runs over some dudes on the Straight Outta Compton set. Like,
yeah, but I back in the 90s, you got to realize where my mind was in the 90s. I was looking for more than just a sound. And even though you guys don't hear me bring up a lot of, I mean, there are certain acts that just stay with you, and he's one of them. I can pop in his music right now. I mean, more so than Tupac, because I prefer Biggie's flow more, because he had a flow and a cadence and a rhythm that went with a lot of the sampling that Sean Combs did with him. And say what you will about him, he did a lot. He produced a lot of his stuff. He helped get him to that stratosphere. But unfortunately, there's this whole thing that was going on, and it's tragic. Every time when I think of somebody cut down that young, it's senseless. It's just tragic. So that is my musical topic of the week. The one and only Notorious B.I.G. Christopher Wallace, rest in peace. All right, now I am going to do something. Please don't make me regret this, people. I already know Fourth is going to. And don't come in under your pseudo whatever. I don't Suge Knight. I'm not letting you in. I'm not letting you in the chat in the conversation. Lies. Yeah.
The whole talk about Biggie is like maybe my mind flashback to Chris Rock's. He's like the.
Oh yeah. And
he had the bit
about a lot of heat for that, but that was
Biggie
so
and Tupac. But the part that always made me laugh so hard was when he said that he specifically about Tupac. He said what's really screwed up about that is that every year Tupac comes back from the dead, records a new album with clues in it.
It was a dude with the Mac 10 that did me in. He's like, he's telling you about how he did it. But the one where he said, when the way people describe Tupac and Biggie as being assassinated and cut down, and probably it wasn't. It's like those two blanks got shot.
Yeah,
he's like, I love Biggie and I love Tupac, but school will be in on their birthdays.
That was a different. He did feel the heat for that a little bit.
Chris Rock, the one he did. Bro, if you guys ever want to, I hurt myself laughing at Rolling with the Pain when he did the OJ one, or he did, oh my God, it was so funny. I'm like, I don't, I'm not saying he should have killed her, but I understand. That was some of the funniest shit.
Oh, we finally found something.
That was back in 1996. To me, to this day, is one of the fun. Chris Rock's hilarious, like I said, because he was rapping about the same stuff that black folks were thinking about. And when he did that Rolling with the Plane one, and there's a certain topic, I'm not going to bring it up on here, but he just really laid it.
Well, what's going on? Where's Ray at? I know she's got to get in here.
Yeah, she'll be in here shortly, I'm sure. I was just about to ask, like, what do you think the odds are that at some point, like at the Oscars, like in a few years, we see like it's co-hosted? You see where I'm going there?
Oh, Chris Rock
and Will Smith.
Oh, I think they do it for ratings.
Yeah. Well, anybody who's seen like the last Bad Boys knows he's found a way to not just move on from that, but also mine some humor from that incident. So
I mean, he'll be all right. I mean, like I said,
he's bounced back. Yeah, he's totally. That's
like I said. I know what movie he needs to do next, and it's Independence Day. Independence Day 2, by the way. And put the 2 on there. Put the fucking 2 on there so we can all heal from that wretched movie. No one's
That's
touching
part
Snoop Dogg.
3.
Quick, huh?
Would it be Independence Day Part 3?
No,
But he's talking about like doing it as like a retcon of the.
we don't. It's like we don't talk about Resurgence.
It's like a Highlander.
We all agreed not to talk about Resurgence. Maybe we can wish it away into the cornfield. Snoop was at his. I mean, Snoop was at his height in the mid '90s too. Snoop was involved in a lot of that shit. DJ Quick, all those guys. Slick Rick. If you can go back, even further than that. But as far as like the type of the lyrics, I think what separates Biggie was the lyrics, and especially after he was killed, a lot of these guys just rapped about the shit. It never really, thank God, they all lived, but they don't have that added, holy shit, he wasn't fucking around-ness to it. You know what I mean? Somebody rapping about being in a shootout, around the corner and, living the rest of their lives. Yeah, they may have done it, but it just has that eerie pull, that gravitational pull, the fact that this guy was doing it for sure. So, yeah. Slick Rick was legendary. Yeah, with that
I know nothing about.
If Slick Rick can stop getting arrested,
I know nothing about the West Coast.
I didn't even know that was a thing until people started getting shot over it, man. I'm like, what the fuck are you guys fighting over? Millionaires shooting each other. Are you crazy? You got away from that shit. What are you doing? You can't give an acceptance speech on Soul Train Awards without escalating that shit. Like, oh my God. And then they were out here in Vegas, and like I said, Chris Rock was right. And like everybody knew who had done it, but Vegas didn't want to become LA during OJ. That's what I always think, is that they're like, you know what? If we don't want the trial of the century happening. We don't want to be known for that. So, because like I said, the dude's been saying he was doing it and bragging about it for quite some time now. Then he wrote a book about it. So there you go.
But the days of the diss track, those were great though. Like rap beef, hip hop beef. Oh man.
Oh man.
Well, like I said, back in the day, it wasn't just they were rapping about plans.
I wasn't. I mean, I definitely. I wasn't with straight out competing, but I definitely wasn't going into it like an NWA expert. But my favorite scene in the movie is when Ice Cube does the rebuttal.
Oh,
yeah,
no
Vaseline scene.
There's the one a true motherfucking G. That song is that's the title of the song. It's Eazy-E getting back at him later on. Man, it was getting heated. But like I said, the problem with those guys is there was violence involved, because you had like people like Suge Knight involved. You had people that were actually doing violence involved. It wasn't just a rap beef. People were getting hurt over that, and that's the sad thing about it. You couldn't enjoy the era.
Yeah. He's like hanging Vanilla Ice by his ankles off of the top of a building.
I still don't know if that's true or not. I know
Vanilla Ice debunked it.
Yeah,
now, he would have every reason to, but he said that didn't happen.
He looks like a bitch.
Like you wouldn't put it past him. Maybe is the other way to put it. Yeah.
Well, Suge Knight, the dude was massive.
Yeah,
the dude was
massive. The original Kingpin.
Yeah, and he was a hands-on guy, and like I said, it took Dr. Dre finally to break away from him. And the sad thing about that is all that strife that was between him and Eazy-E. And I remember him quoting saying, "All that time when we were going at it, we should have been kicking it. I never thought I'd lose Eazy at 35 years old." We thought we had, you're just doing this stuff. Realize at any time it's gone. And he's like, I'll never get a chance to, because Eazy-E was influential in all of their careers. Eazy-E, I mean, you could say what you want about Eazy-E, but you can't take away his influence of what he meant. They were breaking through. I remember being a kid in LA when they were breaking through with Straight Outta Compton. I mean, and it was hard because Yo MTV Raps was just coming online, and they were putting that shit on at like 1 o'clock in the morning, or they were trying to get Yo MTV Raps canceled. They were like, fuck it, midnight, put it on there. 1 day a week, let's put it on there. 2 o'clock. They were trying to Highlander it, because remember when Highlander, like, we got the show, okay, I guess we got to air it. Let's put it on after the news on Sunday night. And it didn't matter. Just like Highlander, people found Yo MTV Raps. And I remember watching Yo MTV Raps live, and they were in a 64 Impala, and it's all NWA, and they're doing the interview with Fat Five Freddy and the other Dr. J, and they're doing this interview, and they're driving through the neighborhood, and I'm like, these are dangerous neighborhoods, but they were rapping about that. But Eazy-E was heavily influential, and he was very talented. That's another one that died too young. He died back when AIDS was the death sentence. That it is not like it is today. He died in the 90s before they started getting those treatments that you could get, and he went undetected. But man, Eazy-E, there's another guy that we could do one on, but he and Dr. Dre as well. You know, the Chronic. Dude, the Chronic in the 90s, we all memorized the Chronic. And the Explicit, because the Chronic had every version of the song, like Dre Day. Dre Day had the one you could play on the radio, and then the one got on the tape. And it was very explicit. Nothing But a G Thing, that was big. They had the video one because they knew they couldn't get by without MTV at that point. And you had to have that, not G-rated, but, and they didn't want to like blurp out the words. So they had their own versions on the actual album. But The Chronic was a massive album in 1993. But I think Eazy-E kickstarted a lot of that stuff. So,
Pull this up real quick, guys.
Go ahead.
So, it's from it's my interview with R. Marcos Taylor. He's a dude who plays Suge Knight in Straight Outta Compton. That was for something he did called Fury of the Fist and the Golden Fleece. But yeah, he was at the Oscars. They did a thing at the Oscars that year where it's like he was there, in character as Suge Knight, but he was like in a straitjacket because they were playing on the whole what happened on set. Marcos. He's massive fucking dude. He's he's a hell of a martial artist, but yeah, he's probably they couldn't have gotten a better Suge Knight for it. So, a little personal plug there. I've interviewed in a manner speaking of Suge Knight.
That's the guy doing a karate kick. Let's see.
I missed most of this era.
You know what? I mean, MC Hammer, for what he was, and he made a lot of money. Blew it all and had to earn it back. But he did. Now he doesn't rap anymore. He's in the church. But MC Hammer, dude, you couldn't get away. That was the original sampler right there. Rick James gave him a Super Freak, and he took that to. He made Rick James a lot of money. We all know where that went. But
we couldn't get away from it in Fury of the Gods.
Huh?
We couldn't get away from MC Hammer and Fury of the Gods.
Oh yeah. But yeah, remember Too Legit to Quit? I remember every fucking shirt in 1990. Too Legit to Quit. Everybody was doing it. I'm like, oh my goodness. But he was mainstream rap, and you had different, and the gangster rappers would make fun of him. Like, look at you with your gold glasses. MC Hammer was from the hood in Oakland. He could have rapped about all of that stuff. MC Hammer did not grow up in a fucking paradise.
He tried.
What's up?
He tried to go gangster.
Yeah, but he had already established himself with the once you go parachute pants and gold trim, it's over. Dre did that, but he got, he went gangster after that, and gangster rap was new. But MC Hammer is about that life too. Hammer don't hurt. Yeah, but yeah, he grew up. He made not I won't say family friendly stuff, but he made stuff that was more friendlier than Fuck the Police. You had, in LAPD, maybe not the song you wanted to be blasting from your convertible when you're rolling and given what LAPD was doing back in the day, Rampart Division, what. But yeah, it was that was a weird time because, like I said, I was listening to a lot of eclectic things, a lot of different things. I was open to listening to anything. There was even some country music artists that, if the song hit me, I would listen to it. I did not have, I never put up musical walls. There's just I would hear it because I would work at Walmart pulling the freight out, and they would be blaring just random music. And some of the times that shit would sound, that shit sounds good. And I would go right over to the Walmart musicals area, and I would grab whoever it was if I could recognize who it was. Back in the day, the internet wasn't where you didn't have Shazam to where you could just hold your phone up and it gives you everything else. You had to type in the lyrics. You had to make sure you got the lyrics right. Go to some computer somewhere, type in fucking Yahoo search or whatever, and go get the album. But then they also had the sampling. They would only play stuff on the intercom that they had that you could sample. So I did it that way too.
Well, we're on the top of the rappers. William, how much you watch? This thing is getting torn apart. This I haven't seen it yet, but this is like some of the worst reviews I've seen for anything like all year.
Yeah, it's got like a 0. Didn't someone have 0? I mean, I don't give a fuck about reviews, but this one's
it's
how much?
hilarious.
Rhea, how much, guys? So that's not a. I think we could get through that one. What,
$3.
After the comedy classic that is Mystery Men.
We're not bringing up Mystery Men is banned until we actually have to watch it because you're fucking up the show with this shit. 50, Rhea. 50. There you
50? And she's gonna plonk down 100 probably right now.
You should standardize your prices, William.
We're not watching standardized, stuff though. Some of these movies are like harder. I mean, okay, 100 for everything. There you go.
Again, it's like I haven't seen it yet.
50 it is.
But it is like
there you go. That's why
it's hard to like avoid like just noticing the reaction to it has been just absolutely horrendous.
And Ice-T is actually a decent actor. His son is as well too. I'm sorry. Both of them are actually. But Ice Cube,
if he's playing Ice Cube,
O'Shea Jackson Jr., he's actually a really good actor.
Yeah,
he actually went to school. Yeah, he went to USC, and he gets to play. He had to audition for. He wasn't just given the role of his dad. Straight out of company, he had to audition for that shit, dude.
Oh, when I first saw that, it's like I mean, it's just you can't. It's just crazy how much just the resemblance.
Their voices,
even knowing like the familial, body connection. It's just, I mean, it just really is insane how much he resembles his old man.
It's all about getting ours.
He's a passable actor. He's I mean, his son is good.
Depends on what role. Yeah, his son is better. It depends on what role too. You got to buy Anaconda. He may as well.
Mr. We got snakes out here this big.
Nah. We got to get the hell out of here. What are we hanging around for?
He calls the snake.
Nothing better than one. Daniel Martin. Yes, a lot of my musical taste came from when I was there because they just jumbled music out and they spit it out. They would play a country song, right? Then they would play a hip hop song. Then they would play alternative song. Then they would play punk rock. I mean, and it was on loud. When we were working overnight, they turned it up. So it was loud. You didn't have to strain to hear it. It was loud, and it was only music that they carried. And they would say, "You can go to our musical section and get this." And I would go over there, and then back in the old days, where they had the little thing, and you push the button for each song. And I would listen to all that shit, dude, and I would end up buying it. It was like what Tower Records was, except it was Walmart. But yeah, if it wasn't for things like
Did you freeze?
No, you only froze there.
Well, nothing was better than days of Virgin Records. I used to love going down to Virgin Records at the mall, where they had all the headphones lined up, like 40, the top 40.
Yeah,
get to listen to about 20 seconds of each song.
Yeah, they had that because I was growing up on military base.
Sorry about that. Lost my internet. If it wasn't for that and just like the normal radio, I wouldn't. There's a lot of music I would have just a lot of genres that I wouldn't have given a chance. So I gotta wait for my good internet to reset. But yeah, let's see.
Does radio have to license like certain songs that they get to play? Like it costs them money to play those songs, and that's how they get their. Because I went back to listening to the radio, and they're still playing the same Nirvana songs over and over. Like they made other songs.
Not very many.
Oh,
they only have
Bleach is
albums,
a freaking. Their best album is Bleach, and that has a lot of good songs on it.
Yeah, but there's no hits off of Bleach though.
I don't know.
They have, but no, there's no hits off of Bleach. That's the thing.
No,
all their hits came off of Nevermind and In Utero. Hold on for a second. Let me fix this internet.
Yeah, there you go, Rhea.
Oh, still at 0. Okay. What'd she say?
She brought up Nirvana song "Negative Creep." Yeah, and there's like
Go ahead.
Oh, so yeah, they have like the hits that are like that. Like, yeah, they travel, but there's plenty of songs on the radio that are like, all right, well, this isn't their best one, but at least it's a new one. At least put on some new stuff. I was like, fuck, they're still playing the
but you're
same
not playing
songs.
anything from Bleach on mainstream radio. There's really nothing from Bleach that you're playing. I mean, they had some song they played a couple of songs, but usually they piggybacked off of things that were from Nevermind and In Utero. And mostly, In Utero is huge, but their first album didn't have a lot of. It had like college radio stuff that a lot of people just didn't play. They played it in the underground, but until Smells Like Teen Spirit, that's when they had the breakout hits, and that's all. You can find places that play that stuff. You can find stations like alternative stations here. When they were around, like 107.5 will play some stuff from Bleach, but they don't have a lot of songs, dude. How many albums did Nirvana play? It was Bleach, Nevermind, and In Utero, right? Was there any more? And then the Muddy Bakes from the Wish, the live album.
Wasn't there one more? In Utero, I think that was it.
In Utero was right when he passed. When he was.
When you guys have a little bit of a mental memory block recalling that, you might say that there is something in the way.
The anti. I don't know why I'm laughing. I'm laughing because Brad's laughing.
Why?
I will never not find a way to mic drop that now.
Why? It's what's significance besides the movie?
Because it's like working the phrase something in the way. It's like there's a million ways to do it. I'm gonna do it.
Brad, always refuse to explain a joke.
Tells a bad joke doesn't mean you have to tell a worse joke. Anyway,
someone asks you to explain it, just refuse to explain a joke, Brad. You got your laughs.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I won't even ask. Bleach, 1989, Nevermind, 1991, and In Utero. That's it. That's all their studio albums. And if
what are your thoughts on Bleach?
I think it's a deeper album than people give it credit for. I actually like Bleach, but I understand why it doesn't get airplay. But I actually like Bleach. About a Girl is one of the best songs Nirvana put out. Negative Creepers, like you said. Sifting is underrated. Blue is underrated. Every song, and then when they reissued it, remember Big Cheese and Downer. Every song on this album, but it wasn't quite Nevermind.
I agree with that. It's just, man, like if you want that grungier, I guess there's like the marketable sound, and then there's like their grungy garage stuff, and it's like, I guess what I can see why, but it's like, fuck, take a risk and show somebody new songs.
Well, they just didn't have that pull. I think Nevermind is grungier, to be honest with you, but that's because when and Keep Ray is coming up, because I do want to get on that one. When you look at Nevermind. Everybody just, it's Teen Spirit. You get sick of that fucking song. Not a bad song, but it was, it just got driven into your head like a nail. When you look at, so Smells Like Teen Spirit. In Bloom is way better than that song. Come As You Are, Breed, Lithium, Polly, Drain You. Drain You is great. Drain You is one of the songs that actually, Kurt Cobain actually had a voice, and it wasn't just him screaming. Drain You actually gives you that range. On a Plane, Something in the Way, which has meaning to it before any of all that, and Endless Nameless. And that's a hidden track. You had to leave it playing. Back in the day when you had the cassettes, you had to leave the shit playing for a while to get that hidden track. But I always said, you know what? I paid for the whole fucking tape. We're going to listen to that whole shit until I hear it until a little button drops up. But the
is that where Even in His Youth was at? Because
what's that?
Someone had the Even in His Youth. That I don't know if you heard that song, the Nirvana one.
No, that was on In Utero, wasn't it?
Okay, because I didn't know where to get that song. My cousins had it, but they recorded off something else. But they called it a hidden song.
Hold on, because I think that was on In Utero. Keep her comment up because I do want to address the Pixies. I thought that song. No, yeah, that's on a different album. There's another album called Verse, Chorus, Verse. That's what they called it, but it has a different name. And In the Laundry Room, that's actually one of their cooler songs. That's not on their album. It's called on something called No Alternative. It's an album that was put out for abuse and stuff like that. People had been abused with a charity, and they added that song onto there. The Pixies, yes. Frank Black, Kim Deal. I don't know. They were what they were before we had a name for it, I guess. But if you listen to what they are, I guess, yeah, you'd have to say they were doing it years before. Where's my mind? I see that on another commercial. And then Frank Black, doing his own Frank Black. And then she would go on with her twin sister to make the Breeders. Last Flash was I got to see them live. I got to see the Breeders live at Lollapalooza. Lollapalooza, the one that they did here in Vegas back in '94, and I got to see the Beastie Boys live. The only time I've ever gotten to see them, and all of them there before Rock passed. So I got to see them. It was Nick Cave. It was Smashing Pumpkins. Smashing Pumpkins was the headliner. But yeah, the Breeders were one of the daytime bands. They had just came out with Last Flash, and they had a song called Saints, which was actually a pretty decent hit. So, and then they went back. She dealt with a lot of drug issues, and then she went back to the Pixies, and they started touring again. So, yeah, I think the Pixies are one of the bands that hit. I'm not going to say hit their height or their stride, but they hit their stride before there was a way to define what they were. So they, whereas Nirvana and Pearl Jam and all these other groups came out, I think that they were this type of music before we had a way to tell people what this type of music was, because they were making. When did they start making music? They started making music in early mid '80s, before we even had a grunge music. Let's see. How you doing, Clint? Just got back from Rocky Horror.
Yeah, I just got back. I'm not feeling really well, but
not because of Rocky Horror, right?
Well, I was up and about. That's why I feel bad.
Is that Duck Blackface?
No, it's Darth Duck.
Oh,
did you?
Okay.
What did you just ask? What the fuck? Oh, this show. Okay, they formed in 1984, and their music has been pretty consistent all the way through. So you could say they were pre-grunge or the forefathers or foremothers of gun. How you doing, Jose? 92. Oh, In Utero is way better than Nevermind. And I mean, in Utero, of all of the three albums that they did, I think In Utero is the one that most reflects his state of mind, especially at the time. He committed suicide.
He started getting biographical.
Yeah, Heart Shaped Box is one of the most haunting songs that you'll ever hear, and it grows even more haunting after he passed away, because that album came out in 1993, I believe, and he killed himself in April '94. That the whole world stopped. If you look at In Utero and you look at the songs and you listen to the lyrics, and you once you realize what he was going through, because like I said, I knew he had drug issues and stuff. A lot of them in the '90s had heroin issues, so and he self-medicated with heroin. He had a stomach ulcer. He was in a lot of pain, and he didn't really want to be the type of rock star that he ended up becoming. All right, so In Utero may be one of the best albums made. It's definitely going to be in my top 20. Every song on here, and this is not our musical topic, but it could be some other day. Serve the Surface, excellent. Scentless Apprentice, excellent. Number 3, Heart Shaped Box, monumental. Rape Me, which was a controversial song that they didn't want to play on the radio because of obviously the title and the lyrics. So yeah, I love In Utero. And then Francis Farmer will have, he named this after his daughter, will have her Revenge in Seattle. I Think I'm Dumb. Penny T, probably the second best song on the album, and one of my favorite Nirvana songs, period, All Apologies. Especially how All Apologies has those power chords that wind down to where it's just nothing but vocals. I love that song. I would say In Utero is their best album, period. One of the best albums of the '90s. One of the best albums ever done. That's proof. When people say, "Well, they only play power chords, they're not really musicians." No, Weezer and Nirvana did power chords, and they made fucking music. And when Weezer went away from doing power chords and started doing that melodic shit, it just wasn't the same band. But when you have a band like Butch, all these ones that have the power chords and they play that music, that was what they were. And you listen to All Apologies, the full range of Novoselic's bass, of what's his face's drums, Foo Fighter, it's late, I can't think. Dave Grohl, but Dave Grohl's drums in In Utero, every fucking song on In Utero, that bass goes with it. It's married up. It's almost like his drums blend into Novoselic bass, and then you had him on the power chords, which drove everything. No other sound could drive that band but Kurt Cobain's guitar and then his voice. So yeah, they were. I would have loved to have seen what he would have done if he would have made it past 27. To be honest with you, I would have loved to seen what kind of music, what his music would have changed into, what his music would it have stayed grunge, or would it have gone in the way of like Soundgarden. I still think they would have broken up. I don't think that's I think because bands are breaking up. Even Soundgarden broke up for a little bit, and I think Foo Fighters would have eventually still happened. But I'm wondering if we got one more album beyond In Utero, what would it sound like? Because In Utero was something that you could listen to. And the video for Heart Shaped Box, dude, if it wasn't for the fact that Nirvana was what was selling, that video for Heart Shaped Box is disturbing as that album cover. But that angel, that lady with all the gut, that's them. And that's what's going on in Kurt Cobain's head. Kurt Cobain was whatever he was going through, he was using that album in particular. Because I think once In Utero was done, once In Utero was released, it was more, he was a different type of creator then. When you see Bleach, the songwriting, everything else, it's not as, I don't think it's as deep as In Utero.
Nor as polished, but it's...
Well, not just that, not just polished. I don't think the lyric, because what he's saying in In Utero is like, it can be interpreted in so many different ways. I think In Utero we could do a whole stream on In Utero. I wish I could I think it would be Twitch or somewhere where we could just go song by song and go over In Utero. Not just like I said, and you got different range. You got from song one, from Serve to Servants, all the way down to All Apologies, the second best song on the album. You have the entire range of that band. Sonic Youth was another one. Sonic Youth. They were, by the time when things started hitting, Thurston and Kim Gordon, all those guys, they were getting old. They were in their 40s when that movement was getting let's see. Like a Stone, sung by Chris Cornell. Sorry, I just got it. That was by Audioslave. The guitar solo in Like a Stone is fucking beautiful. I love that guitar solo.
I'm really starting to look forward to Spinal Tap 2. The end continues.
Kick it up to 11.
I want to see that. I haven't even seen the first one.
Yeah, I'm just saying, it's a fun movie. Yeah, you had to be. I think it hits harder if you grew up with the hair bands and those type of bands. Like Iron Maiden. Every time I see Spinal Tap, I think Iron Maiden for me. So, Smashing Pumpkins is still making movies.
Ozzy Osbourne said it was a documentary.
Yeah, he would know. Smashing Pumpkins, once again, that's one of the great bands of the 90s. Melancholy and Infinite Sadness. We actually did our musical topic on that show.
Vampire.
Yeah, that was the last time you would see him with hair. He cut his hair off after. And that's where he got that look. And he would wear that Zero shirt for like 5 years. But yeah, that and then Machina was an underrated album too. Everything that they did with that band, Williams on Chipmunk. Oh, okay. There have been many bands influenced by Nirvana. Bush, that's a perfect example. Bush was a direct influence of Nirvana.
That's Bush had so much shit for being a Bush fan.
Dude. That album, I got to see them out here. I got to see them, Bush, No Doubt, and the Goo Goo Dolls. It was a tour that Glenn Stefani and Gavin Rossdale. That's the tour that they met, and they would get married a couple of years later. 16 Stone is we've covered that one here too. It's every song on there on 16 Stone. I mean, he's literally got a song on there where no shit, he's bragging about his dick. Testosterone is about him. Literally, I got a big old gun and a big gold bullet, and I guess you could say I'm full of it. He's talking about his ego and laying chicks at concerts, which is what Bush was doing up until he met his wife. Machine Head, Come Down, and then they had some other stuff like Golden State, where we're Head Full of Ghosts. Head Full of Ghosts is one of their best songs. Razor Suitcase was one of that sophomore album. But Bush took a lot from Nirvana.
I learned about him through the soundtrack of American Werewolf in Paris.
Ooh, the only good thing about that movie. Oh my god. Well, everything sounded, because it was a different sound. We were giving up guitar rock, and in fact, it's hilarious because it was grunge that drove away a lot of the solo guitar, and just everybody was doing rhythm. But those main bands were good at guitar. Stone got Pearl Jam. They had some of the best guitar solos ever, and Nirvana. Even Nevermind has a guitar solo going through it, and then Soundgarden, those guys are definitely doing guitar solos, but everybody just copied the chords and just didn't do, because the guitar solo would start to go away in the mid '90s, But the main bands, the elite bands, are still doing it. Ooh, how did we get down this rabbit hole? Who started this?
Clint.
We started this before Clint got here.
Yeah.
Heart-Shaped Box scared me as an adult. Yeah, Heart-Shaped Box scared me as an adult. That video is fucked up.
Yeah.
Heart-Shaped Box is speaking about a uterus.
Goo Goo Dolls and Foo Fighters in a super band called the Foo Foo Dolls Goo Goo Fighters.
Yeah, and Goo Goo Dolls, they were in the subset of those bands. They were breaking through with a boy named Goo name, and then they had a song called Naked. That was the very first song that they played out here when we saw them. Then they would have Iris doing the City of Angels soundtrack. That would bring them up to a new level. But there's a song that they did. It's their best fucking song. Black Balloon. About a heroin addict. And they've done that song in acoustic, and I've seen them do that live. In acoustic, the best song, Black Balloons, from their best album called Dizzying Up the Girl. Oh, somebody asked. What's up?
Somebody asked what the UK was doing at this time. If
they were giving us bands like Blur and Oasis.
I was a big Portishead fan. I think they're UK, right?
Yeah, Portishead's UK. But Oasis was big. Blur was big. The Verve was big back then. So they were all considered. They were giving us alternative at the same time America was coming up with it. The Seattle sound. Go ahead, Clint.
In the 90s, I was listening to a lot of A Perfect Circle.
Yeah, and then you had Nine Inch Nails release their two best albums during that era, in my opinion. So, my favorite, "Hey, I Want a New Complaint." I love that song, and the way it opens up, the way, like I said, it's like you're watching his nightmare. All right, let's go. My bed.
The downward spiral is literally a downward spiral.
Yeah, each song gets more fucked up. Then it's not uplifting, guys. If you're listening to somebody, don't listen to that fucking album. Cox Cable and Whataburger. Hey, I got a new complaint. Oh, AT&T. Add AT&T on there too, by the way. I lost my voice cussing those motherfuckers out. Oh, when somebody says reboot,
the best album ever made, and I can prove it, is Dark Side of the Moon.
See, I love Pink Floyd, and most people will say Dark Side of the Moon. Even Roger Waters says, Dark Side of the Moon was the top of our game. Everything after that was rubbish. No, that's quoting him. And I'm like, dude, The Wall for me, and I guess that's how music is, The Wall for me is their greatest accomplishment, both musically and that movie. It tore the band apart, but hey, got to give and take. Maybe it was because that's where I first heard Pink Floyd on the radio.
Well, the way I can prove that Dark Side of the Moon is one of the best albums ever made, it's been on the top 500 chart since it came out. And then when they made a rule to say, "Oh, your your album can only be on for so long. Pink Floyd re-released it, so it's still on the Billboard 500.
The Avengers Doomsday.
Nice.
No, Rhea. No. Oasis had a lot of okay, so you have Supersonic, which was it broke them through. That was a hit. You have
Supersonic.
yeah. Oh no, not Salt and
I
Pepper.
know that.
You had Supersonic. You had Live Forever. Those are the two biggest hits on Yesterday Maybe. Wonderwall was huge, but Don't Look Back in Anger was almost as big. That was a huge one. Wonderwall ended up being a big hit for them, but I would argue that they had more. I mean, they have their entire catalog was sought after. Look at them; they're selling out to stadiums now, 30 years later. So I would have to disagree on that, Ray. I mean, I guess it's subjective, but I was a big Oasis fan, and I never got to see them in concert, and I'm damn sure not going to bankrupt myself now. But I'm glad they're back together making music because I don't think brothers should be doing each other like that. I'm forgetting. Dr. Butcher. Dr. Butcher says I am leaving out heavy metal, which was still exploding through the 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s. No, it wasn't. I didn't. I'll rephrase that, Doc. I don't feel, as someone who grew up in the 80s loving heavy metal, that it felt like heavy metal was getting put on the back burner for a good portion of that mid 90s. You had the major bands. You had Metallica. You had all the bands that were mega huge. But I didn't feel that heavy metal was. It felt like it was being chased off the scene because the grunge music and an alternative music that would follow it was seemed as much more edgier and smarter and what people were listening to. But if you could have been in the 90s and felt completely different and wouldn't be wrong.
The Beatles had a heavy metal song.
Which one
Is
are
that
you?
Bridge Over Troubled Water?
Helter Skelter.
Oh yeah, yeah, and that song has a lot of.
I cannot name more than 2 Queen songs because those are the only songs that were on the radio. I have no idea what else they got.
I could spend the rest of the show naming Queen songs, but I won't do it.
We Are the Champions.
Yeah, I know that one. And then
This Is a Kind of Magic. We Will Rock You. Innuendo. The Show Must Go On. Those Were the Days.
What's the name of the song from Shaun of the Dead that they used? That Don't Stop Me Now.
Don't Stop Me Now. By the way, happy birthday, Freddie Mercury.
Is it called that?
Freddie Mercury's a Virgo, just like me. Hold on for a second. I'm going to switch this internet.
It might be called Having a Good Time.
Yeah. I haven't looked it up. I was like, all right, that's my new favorite Queen song. And then I didn't even look up what it's called. I never even used to learn my lyrics either. Fuck.
If you ever get a chance after the show, watch Queen perform live at Wembley Stadium for Live Aid.
Oh yeah, that's
1986.
I
I watched that as a kid. 12-year-old me watched that as a kid. I watched Live Aid. I watched every fucking minute of the Live Aid.
Watch the two. You can find like the comparison video of like the actual Live Aid footage to the way it's recreated Bohemian Rhapsody. It's pretty spot on, like how well they were able to match it in the movie, and I really like. You get the sense that the rather disgraced director involved, it's like it's almost like that was greenlit on the pitch of like let's like that was the pitch. It's like let's
that was a terrible biography.
It is sugar-coated.
Well, yeah, but I mean, all biopics are really if you want to go down that rabbit hole.
I mean, because a lot of people don't want it. You're never going to get in true interpretation.
You have to usually ask their family estate for the rights to do it.
Yeah.
And then you have their fan base too. Like Queen has a massive fan base.
Well,
and to be honest with you, I know what that band went through. I know what he went through in this last show.
Yeah, I used it in my black belt test back in May. What we do our black belt test. The team picks like an intro song we all walk out with, and I suggested "Princess of the Universe." So we my black belt test back in May. It's like it was kicked off. It's like we're all walking out there on the mat with the song "Princess of the Universe" introducing us.
I'm surprised they don't.
Yep, the Fabulous Three Birds.
And the worst part about that Wembley Stadium is he knew he was dying too.
Yeah. What? He William, I think you
Yeah,
kind of talked about it. He knew, but he wasn't like the movie kind of like plays around the timeline a little bit because he wasn't officially diagnosed until after Live Aid, was he?
No, he was diagnosed in 1984.
Oh, so he
was diagnosed in 1984. Yeah. Okay, it's never been officially stated because he's never really. He didn't acknowledge he didn't go public with that he had AIDS. Everybody, there were rumors. Remember, we didn't have the internet right back then. We didn't have all blogs.
Like once you saw pictures looking like the way he did by the end, it's like it was kind of people could put two and two together.
Yeah, but you didn't see that. You didn't see that until after he passed away. When he did November 24th, 1991, the day he passed, he announced to the world publicly that he had AIDS on November 23rd, 1991. I'll never forget that because back in the day, you could just go away and not be on TV. And most of the things from the album that he was working on, which was Innuendo, if you look at The Show Must Go On, the entire song is about him fighting through to get that album done before he knew he was passing.
Okay, I got the state. I guess I got Freddie's Wikipedia here. Here's the actual statement he put out. Again, this is like days before he passed away. Following the enormous conjecture in the press over the last 2 weeks, I wish to confirm that I have been tested HIV positive and have AIDS. I felt it correct to keep this information private to date to protect the privacy of those around me. However, the time has come for my friends and fans around the world to know the truth, and I hope that everyone will join me, my doctors, and all those worldwide in the fight against this terrible disease. My privacy has always been very special to me, and I am famous for my lack of interviews. Please understand this policy will continue. And that's true. Like Freddie was, he was notorious for, you count on one hand how many interviews he did in his course of his career.
Yeah, he was private, and he was private in an era you could be private. You didn't have all this technology. You didn't have all these means to really out people. You could have rumors that you were gay, but you never really had to come out in a minute. But he was flamboyant. He wasn't living that type of life, but he didn't. If you asked him a question about his sexuality, he wouldn't answer it. He would deflect it, and now it's fine. But he got AIDS, and I will never forget. 1991 was a fucking horrible year. On November 7th, 1991, that was when Magic Johnson announced that he had tested HIV positive, and literally 3 weeks and 3 days later, Freddie Mercury is dead from it. So it was not a good time, and this was before we had it's my sister wishing me happy birthday, and she's gonna send me like 10 of these now. This was before we had any treatment. The government had dragged. Remember, in the Reagan era, they didn't even want to acknowledge that there was an epidemic going on, and because of the stigma, who was getting it, there would be funds. The funds and the resources just weren't there until way later on. Once those funds and resources and awareness was put out, now you don't want to get AIDS. Don't get me wrong, but if you get it now, the Nunnery, with who we do a lot of business and a lot of advertising, and who house some of our shows, their entire charity is to make AIDS medications affordable so that people can live indefinite lives and undetected lives like that. We weren't having that when Freddie Mercury got that. You got it and you were gone. And everybody thought Magic Johnson was going to die. I remember that him giving that news conference. Everybody was on death watch for Magic. Magic's like 90 now, looking good, overweight, treating, no signs of anything. I don't even think he tested positive anymore because you can take there's a lot of drugs you can take to where you become undetectable, and you can no longer spread it via sex. That's where we've gotten. I hope we get to cancer. If we can get a quarter of the way with cancer as if we've gotten with AIDS, man, the whole world would be something else, man. But
that's the big one.
Yeah. And like I said, when I was growing up, I never thought we would be here with AIDS. I thought we were just going to get worse, and it shows you when you throw your weight around, when people actually acknowledge something is that bad, and stop putting a stigma on it, you can actually make a lot of progress. And they have made tremendous amount of progress with AIDS, and even in other countries. Even George W. Bush, he was one of the big things he was known for was helping assist with the spread of AIDS in Africa. And it was a big deal, So, all right, guys, let's see who we got. We're gonna wrap this up here.
Hey, we're officially in your birthday hour. We've been talking. Happy birthday, William.
Yes, we are 20 minutes.
Birthday, William.
Yeah, see that link? Buy me a fat burger, goddammit. or Ray.
Yeah.
Can't we just send you a super chat for?
No, I want the Fat Burger like now.
Yeah, it's a good birthday.
If you don't get those super chats until the 22nd, way down the line. That's closer to October than it is. Than it is in September.
Oh,
yeah. We can do that. It's a good birthday was for William.
Where's the link?
I just put it in there. Wow, my light's just going on here. Wow, this light's about to go down. Let me turn this off.
Well, William, since it is your, I mean, I know we talked about Aaron will be here for this, but like, what better way to celebrate your birthday than to do the Mystery Men watch party then?
I have to wait for Aaron to be ready for it. The only reason why we delayed it was because of her.
Oh man, so come on. So
Listen, I can get through shitty movies. You're the one that soils the diaper and screams and oh my god, it's so horrible. I can listen. I sat through Mystery Men when I first came out. Thank you, Jose. Yeah, Ray has already done the thing, so we're good. Hold on, I got family members from all over the place now dinging on my Facebook thing. Listen to me. Yeah, my sister does it. As soon as I see it, all paying tribute. Damn it, I'm still here. It's not easy. Shit. Hey, listen. Getting from one birthday to the next is not fucking guaranteed. We just talked about two guys.
William, tell me about it.
We just talked about two guys that didn't make it past 24 and 25 respectively. So every moment I get, I'll fucking take it. I always say I will if I have a choice of continuing to take the birthdays or the funerals. You only get one of that latter. I'll continue to take the birthdays for as long as I can keep hanging. Hey Black Star, did you just get here? Or no, you've probably been here. Thank you, Dante. Let's see what we got here.
Happy birthday, William.
Cool. We'll bookend it. We'll end the night or online, and then when we get on to our show, like I said, I wasn't planning on doing this show tonight. I was kind of struggling because I'm still kind of struggling with how we want to do this Saturday night.
Well, yeah, we're going to be
Sunday night.
You'll be adjusting that, and also maybe there was a guest potentially. I guess he wasn't able to make it.
Check your
no, but he did email me back, and he said he was he had some family things going on, so I am waiting for that particular individual to get back with me and what time of day that he wants to do it on and all that other stuff. Because not everybody's a night owl, like me. So,
check your PayPal.
Aaron here.
I got it. Thank you.
Aaron's like, I love your duck, Clint.
Hey, should we sing for William?
Do what?
Should we sing for William?
Let's pull up the Ramones from The Simpsons doing the Happy Birthday to Mr. Burns song.
No, because you're going to get kicked off by Fox.
It's more embarrassing if we sing it for him. Game clip.
I have in-stream right up here in the upper right here. No, I was kidding.
No, I'm not game. I'm not feeling very good at all.
Did you at least have a good time at the? How was the show, Clint? How was the crowd?
The show was fun. I made the whole entire theater groan, so it's good.
Oh, you did one of your too soon to die jokes.
Yeah, when Riff Raff opens up the casket, I go, "Show us Ozzy Osbourne."
You know what? The funniest thing about that is Ozzy would have laughed at that.
Yeah, he probably would have.
He's like, "I'm the Prince of Darkness, man. I'm not supposed to live forever," and doing his hands thing. That guy could take a joke. Now, the Casey Anthony one was bad. That was bad. I mean, because that one, everybody, I had people walk out of a show for that one and complain. I'm like, you show up to Rocky Horror, but even me, who's used to Rocky Horror, dark humor shit, she had just died like a weekend before, and it was a child death. I'm like, okay, yeah. But Ozzy, listen, Ozzy lived the life. Ozzy got every bit of mileage he wanted out of life. Yeah, he
was an amazing singer. If you ever listened to War Pigs and Crazy Train,
even though, like I said, when it comes to Black Sabbath, I prefer the late great Ronnie James Dio, and those two albums, Heaven and Hell and Mob Rules, are their two best ones. But that's just me. I'm glad that they got put to perform together before they went, but I wish Ronnie would have been able to live a little bit longer because they were just getting on that tour, that Heaven and Hell tour, and he came down with stomach cancer, and it's like, fuck, man. All right, guys. Anybody got anything else to get off their chest before we wrap this up? Thank you, Slippy.
I wonder what's going to happen in the next Alien Earth.
Something with that fucking eye thing.
Yes, please give us more of that eye.
I need that thing to die.
No, I want it through the rest of the show. I want the eye to like morph into like the size of like the alien queen or something. It's like
you don't. You notice you don't.
His eye is. He has no eyelids.
Yeah. Yeah, we haven't seen that thing. I think that thing dies here.
I think the eye's gonna be a good guy. It's gonna be a hero. Watch.
You know, wait a minute. Actually, it's funny you mentioned that because just yesterday, one of the other guys in the school, we were getting ready for class, and he asked me if I'm watching Alien Earth. I told him yes, I am, and then we got to talking about it. We were talking a lot of. We went right away too. It's like, oh, that eye is just creepy as hell, isn't it?
Yes, it is. We're 26 minutes into September 7th. E.T.'s birthday, too. Queen Elizabeth I. Corbin Burnside, Shannon Elizabeth. We all have the same birthday. Doug Bradley, Pinhead. Who I've celebrated and as a non-drinker watched him get drunk with like some really dark beer. Thank you, Azteca. All right, guys. Well, that's it. That's it. Thank you for ushering in another trip around the sun, and we will continue. We will wrap that party tonight at 10:30 when we do our weekend, and basically we'll just be lightly going over anything that we may have missed. I kind of have no faith in. Well, you join me because I never had faith in X-Men '97 since the showrunner is fired by Disney, and he won't stop talking. Oh, that guy just wants to tweet about everything. But hey, you know what? Monarch Season 2 is coming out soon because it's done. Just waiting for a date for Apple, and I'm also waiting for a date. I'm waiting for a date. Film Psychic, you've been here. You've been here like a while now. Nobody has anything else to say. I mean, I opened up the channel. Rhea didn't show up. The morning is old. Rhea, I opened up the channel. Rhea didn't show. I thought for sure Rhea. I was hoping for Rhea, and I got you.
Monarch just doesn't interest me enough to start resubbing to Apple TV again. It didn't. The first season was kind of eh.
I
want more monsters in it.
Well, I think you had the big ones coming in at the end. I mean, Kong was right at the end, and then you'll probably have different because they do time jumps. They're lining up the time jumps till now. Sandman Season 2 watch party. Oh man, I just feel bad about how that is going to wrap up. My bad. Hold on. I got to mute Brad because his static is killing me. My bad. I had laundry. I don't know. And joined another show. Oh, you went to Max or somewhere? Fine. I don't like Shin Godzilla.
We're getting way more shit. I'm excited.
Yeah, I do not like the design of Shin Godzilla. I call it Vomit Godzilla. Because that's what it looks like, and that's what he's doing for half the movie. But all right, but Godzilla -1 or minus. I don't know if it's -2 or it should be 0 though, isn't it? If they're coming up, it should be Godzilla 0.0. I don't know, unless they're saying it's going to get worse from
yeah.
Okie dokie. It's great satire. You guys can have that.
Have you seen Shin Godzilla, Clint?
No, I have not.
Oh, check that one out. That one's based on the Fukushima incident.
It literally looks like it is, dude. It is. I call it Vomit Godzilla. I call it Chernobyl Godzilla because it looks like the people that are melting and throwing up in there. And
funny you speak about Chernobyl. Chernobyl's just as dangerous now as it was then.
Yeah, and them stupid-ass Russians keep shooting missiles at it. That's not helping. You fucking crack that concrete dome. That shit's going to spread.
It's not the concrete dome I'm worried about. It's the elephant foot in the basement.
Whatever is in there, I don't want it out.
The elephant foot in the basement is nothing but pure radioactive graphite and uranium and plutonium that's melting slowly towards the center where all the water is. And if it blows up, half of Europe's gone. Well,
like I said, somebody tell Putin. Because he doesn't seem to care about Chernobyl. He seems to forget that's there. All right, guys, subscribe. If you're on Twitter, join us on the mothership here at YouTube. And any last words, everybody?
It's too bad you can't get Sister Kim's.
No, I got. They gave me my birthday meal today.
Oh, that's good news.
Any last words? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Cha cha
Happy
cha.
birthday, our friend William.
Cha cha
Happy
cha.
birthday to you, and many more.
Well, the many more I can agree with. Like I said, um,
October 23rd, my birthday. We get to celebrate the third screening.
Oh, third screening of what?
Howard the Duck.
Of the duck with the Darth Vader helmet there.
Tradition.
Thank you.
Kinda, that is kind of that image is kind of fitting, Clint, because with George Lucas's role in the whole thing.
Oh, there you go. All right, October 3rd. October 3rd is Black Hawk Down Day. I commemorate that every day, every year since that happened.
And I'm going to pay for a Shin Godzilla watch party.
Okay. All right, guys, that's it. I will see you later on tonight. I'm going to go eat some food. Figure out where all my Starbucks cards are at. That should be coming my way. And I will see you all tonight.
All right, see you guys.